Chapter 1576. Dragons battle. Xie Yang. Qin Yun secretly rejoiced. He did the right thing by not letting Xiao Hua attack. He is sure that those immortal kings are just bait. There must be immortal emperors lying in ambush in the vicinity. Yume, how strong can this 9-heaven dragon frightening formation summon? Qin Yun asked. It depends on how strong the runes are. Xiao Yume shook her head. I am also not sure what level of dragons it can summon. Hei Shu curiously asked. Big sister, what is the principle of this 9-heaven dragon frightening formation? Why can it summon a group of dragons? Xiao Yume puffed up her cheeks, her brows are knitted, she is thinking very hard and said, This. I am also not too sure. In short, 9-heaven dragon frightening formation summons a group of dragons. She doesn't know much about this formation, she only knows its usage and principle. She has never studied it in detail. Brother, this formation was created by you, it is very complicated. Xiao Yume pulled Qin Yun's clothes and said with smile, Tell me about the principle of this formation. Qin Yun is somewhat surprised, this formation was created by his past life, Xiao Yume never mentioned it before. I guess that this formation can bring benefits to the dragons. The energy it releases can be sensed by the dragons, maybe it is the energy they need the most. Qin Yun said, this is also his previous speculation. It seems like it. Xiao Yume nodded and said, Those stupid dragons of dragon race don't understand runes, but there are many runes and totems related to them. Qin Yun laughed and said, 9 dragon totems are very useful. These runes and totems are naturally formed, they are very useful to them but they don't know how to use them. Xiao Yume said with smile. Little Black and Little White are the most powerful, they are both inscription beasts and inscription masters. Inscription beasts like Pippi Pig don't know a thing about runes. Pippi Pig is very strong, if we really fight him to the death, we will all be afraid of him. Hei Shu shook his head and laughed. Pippi Pig is not here, if he hears this, he will definitely not be happy. Bai Zhe laughed loudly and said. Lu Jiahong said with smile. I heard from Dezhuang that Pippi Pig's farting techniques are becoming more and more powerful. I am not afraid of him. Xiao Yume giggled and said. Late at night, the divine fruits of the divine inscription mountain released all kinds of multicolored light. The people near the divine mountain were drooling. Those were divine fruits, and there were so many of them, but they were all in the hands of a few people. Especially those from the Xie race, they wanted to snatch it. Not only them, even those powerful immortal emperors, every time they see a mountain full of divine fruits, they have the thought of snatching them. However, they don't have enough strength to break the great formation of the divine inscription mountain. Daybreak, the runes and totems needed for the 9 pillars have been carved. After a busy night, Qin Yun rested for a while at daybreak. Then, he went out with his friends and placed the 9 pillars on the spacious and flat ground at the top of the mountain. Xiao Yume said, Brother, the stronger the energy released, the more dragons will sense it. You need to inject a lot of energy. Let's work together. Qin Yun has more than 2,500 kilograms of sacred Xian silver crystals in his hand. He only used 50 kilograms of sacred Xian silver crystals to release a very powerful arrow. Should I add in some sacred mystic silver crystals? Qin Yun asked. 500 kilograms. I will also release the power of the divine mountain and coordinate it with the sacred mystic silver crystals. Mountain God said. All right. Qin Yun took out 500 kilograms of sacred mystic silver crystals and placed them in the middle of the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation. Bai Zhe looked at the lizard dragon and said with smile, This guy is about to die, yet he is still so unrestrained. All Xie race people must die. Qin Yun said. Indeed, those who provoke our inscription gate will not have a good ending. Xiao Yume stood below a pillar and said, Prepare to begin. Qin Yun nodded and yelled, Begin! He released his power and poured it into the pillar to activate the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation. After the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation was activated, it became very calm, only a faint fluctuation was produced. Yueme, it looks very calm, is there a problem? Qin Yun asked in low voice. There is no problem. After the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation is activated, the fluctuation released can only be sensed by dragons. Xiao Yueme finished speaking, then looked at the sky and said again, "This lizard dragon doesn't count. This formation consumes a lot of energy." Mountain God said. Qin Yun also discovered that the energy inside the 500 kilograms of sacred mystic silver crystals is quickly depleting. 9-heaven dragon frightening formation, it is not frightening at all. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "Brother, this formation's effect is very good. You will know very soon," Xiao Yueme said with certainty. 2 hours passed by and the sacred mystic silver crystals have been completely consumed. Xiao Yueme said, "It's done, we have already sent a message to the dragons in Immortal Desolate. When they sense the fluctuation, they will know the direction and fly here." "Then, should we put away the array formation here?" asked Qin Yun. "Let's put it away." Xiao Yueme waved her hand and said with smile, "Let's sit back and wait for the great show of the dragons fighting Xieyang." The mountain god said, "If a chaotic battle really breaks out, I will be able to secretly crush those little ants of the Xieyang race." He Shu said with smile, "Although our inscription gate has few people, our runes are very strong. We can use runes to repel enemies, only then can we display the strength of inscription gate." Xiao He, Xiao Bai, you are inscription beasts, have you ever seen a dragon-shaped inscription beast? Xiao Yueme asked. "Never seen, but there are definitely some. There are many divine beasts that are inscription beasts," Baize said. "They are all sitting on the mountain peak, lying on the couch and looking at the sky, waiting for the arrival of the dragons." Inside the Xiao family manor, Xie Juanhao and other immortal emperors are discussing about the ancient garden. Suddenly a middle-aged man walked in and said, "Xiao Hua did not take action, Qin Yun and others are now basking in the sun on the mountain peak, they look very relaxed." "What? They are not nervous at all?" Xie Juanhao is now wearing an eye patch, he looks like a one-eyed dragon. He very angrily cursed, "That bastard Qin Yun, he is looking down on people too much. He provoked me, yet he is not afraid at all." Xiao Kongjian said, "Immortal Emperor Jun Hao, will your Xieyang race really send Xieyang?" "Of course. Once Xieyang arrives, it will be the end of that mountain." Xie Juanhao furiously said, "That bastard Qin Yun definitely thinks that Xieyang won't come, that's why he is so fearless. Don't worry about him, he is now trapped to death, he can't leave the mountain, he can't enter the ancient garden, this is a good thing." Long family old man said with smile. "Good my ass. My Xieyang race doesn't have any passage tokens, you have exchanged many, why don't you give me some?" Xie Juanhao said. "Immortal Emperor Juanhao, you don't know, rumor has it that the Li family exchanged many passes from Xiao Hua and also the Wang family from the inscription world." Xiao Kongjian said, "Compared to those two, our passes are very few. Didn't Xiao Hua say that he wouldn't exchange too many with others?" Xie Juanhao asked. "He only promised not to exchange too many with Nether Sect and Guang Han Palace, but Li and Wang family, we can't restrict them. They are all from Inscription World, moreover, they spent a lot of effort to repair that bridge, what can we say?" A Xiao family elder shook his head and said. Just as Xie Juanhao was about to speak, a dragon roar suddenly arrived. When the dragon roar arrived, the entire Tian Shao city trembled, everyone heard the deafening roar. "Is it your Xieyang race's dragon?" Xiao Kongjian asked. "No, it's a true dragon." Xie Juanhao cursed, "Damn it, our dragon is out of luck. Quickly go out and take a look." Long family old man said in shock, "This kind of aura, it might be an immortal dragon king. Why did a dragon suddenly appear?" It's good that it appeared, we will slay the dragon. Devil immortal heavenly gate. Old man laughed loudly and said. Shao family villa's immortal emperors ran out of the city one after another. When Bing Xing heard the dragon roar, she felt somewhat apprehensive and promptly brought people out of the city. Wei Zhongjing already brought people out of the city because the dragon roar came from the divine inscription mountain. There are many people coming out of the city, they are all here to watch the show. After going out, they saw a 1,000-meter-long blue dragon in the distant sky. This dragon's entire body is flickering with blue light. Those dragon scales are like blue crystals, they are very beautiful, causing many people to immediately ignore those fierce dragon claws and the dragon's might. This dragon soared and flew over, its speed is very fast, it is currently chasing after the giant lizard dragon. Qin Yun said, Why is there only one? What happened to the group of dragons? Xiao Yueme said with smile. Don't be anxious, there might only be one dragon in the vicinity, so the first one to arrive is only this one. After Xie Juanhao came out of the city and saw the blue dragon, he said with sneer, It's just a small dragon, everyone don't attack, watch our Xieyang holy dragon take down this small dragon. He took out a black horn and blew it. The horn sounded, immediately two unpleasant roars came out, these are the roars of giant lizard dragons. Qin Yun cursed in low voice. Damn it, there is a powerful giant lizard dragon in the vicinity. Xieyang race bastards, they really hid themselves very deeply. Xiao Yueme said. Luckily old Xiao is hiding. Two giant lizard dragons suddenly appeared, their bodies are covered with golden and black scales, their body size is even larger. When they flew over, they brought along a very dreadful gale, evil aura filled the air, it is very ferocious and threatening. The mountains outside the prairie have all collapsed from the wind. Could it be immortal emperor-level giant lizard dragon? Qin Yun cried out in alarm. That blue dragon is finished. Bai Zhe very anxiously said, Why haven't the other dragons arrived yet? Two giant lizard dragons suddenly appeared, their wingspan is 1,000 meter, they are gliding in the sky, it is very shocking. That blue dragon is only an immortal king beast. It is completely unable to resist the power of an immortal emperor, it can only miserably flee in the sky. Xiao Yueme very anxiously jumped. Why haven't the other dragons arrived yet? Is there only one dragon in the vicinity? She is looking forward to seeing a group of dragons covering the sky, it did not appear, she is secretly disappointed. Those giant lizard dragons chased after the blue dragon, in the blink of an eye they disappeared into the distant sky, causing everyone to let out a burst of sigh. Not long after the giant lizard dragons flew away, they came back again, moreover they let out very panicked roars. Chapter 1577 Dragon Emperor and Dragon Mother. Chapter 1577 Dragon Emperor. The people at the gate of the heavenly desolation city are puzzled when they saw the three giant lizard dragons flying back in panic. Especially Xie Juanhao, he said with a doubtful expression, What's going on? Logically speaking, it's impossible for that little dragon to scare away our evil son Saint Dragon. Could it be? An old man from the Long family suddenly took out a compass. The needle of the compass is trembling and flickering with all kinds of colorful light. What is it? Xiao Kongjian asked. There are many powerful dragons approaching. The old man from the Long family pointed the compass in all directions and shouted in shock. They are coming from all directions. What's going on? Xie Juanhao snorted. Don't talk nonsense, it must be your toy that's broken. How could there be so many dragons coming over? Xiao Kongjian said. As far as I know, the dragon race is at odds with each other and has long been divided into two groups. It's impossible for them to gather together. It must be your Long family's toy that's broken, the old man from the Xiao family said with smile. However, at this moment, 9 colored clouds suddenly surged out from behind the 3 giant lizard dragons. The surging 9 colored clouds are like a monstrous wave rolling in the sky. Looking at it from afar, it is very shocking. And the most shocking thing is that the mighty dragon power that is blowing like a gale is hitting the ground like a wave and shaking in all directions. The people standing at the city gate were blown back by the surging airwave. Those powerful immortal emperors are filled with fear. Just now, they felt that many powerful dragons have appeared. Everyone opened their eyes wide as they looked at the 9 colored clouds surging over from afar. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon roar resounded, as if many giant dragons are roaring together in anger. This dragon roar shook heaven and earth, causing the entire heavenly desolation city to shake a few times. Within the 9 colored clouds in the sky, many giant dragon bodies suddenly appeared. They are actually giant dragons of different colors. Among them, there is a giant golden dragon with the fastest speed and the largest body. Although its body is hidden above the clouds, one can occasionally see its giant dragon claws. The gigantic golden dragon rushed to the front in an instant, and its incomparably large claws quickly grabbed out. Hoo-hoo! The instant the claw struck out, a berserk dragon's repulse accompanied by a large area of lightning enveloped the sky above heaven's desolate city. When Qin Yun saw the dragon claw, he realized that the dragon might be the strongest in the immortal desolate. The giant lizard dragon with a wingspan of 1,000 meters was caught by the golden dragon claw like a little bird. The moment the dragon claw grabbed onto the giant lizard dragon, a violent shock wave came crashing down from the sky, causing the grassland below to crack and sink by a few meters. The outer boundary of heaven's desolate city was torn apart by the blast wave. Boom! The dragon claw exploded out with a very strong immortal dragon power, and the gigantic lizard dragon was directly crushed. Xiao Yimei's face is filled with fear as she said in low voice, "Brother, this dragon seems to be the immortal desolate dragon emperor. He is very strong. Hurry up and disguise yourself. Don't get recognized." What? Hearing this, Qin Yun knew that his previous life's immortal king Floating Cloud must have provoked this immortal desolate dragon emperor. That incomparably huge dragon had always been above the clouds. The people below could only see its claws, but they felt incomparably shocked, and waves of fear surged in their hearts. Hoo-chi! Boom! Suddenly, the huge dragon tail chopped down like a huge axe that can split heaven and earth. An immortal emperor giant lizard dragon was swept by the incomparably huge dragon tail and turned into black fragments that scattered all over the place. The 2 immortal emperor-ranked giant lizard dragons were killed, and they died very quickly. They were crushed by a powerful force. Another immortal king giant lizard dragon was also chased and bitten by a large group of small dragons. In a short while, it was bitten into many pieces. Xie race bastards, it was you who provoked our dragon race first. A coarse voice rumbled in everyone's ears like thunder. There are many Xie race people in the vicinity of the divine inscription mountain. Their aura is very easy to distinguish. Suddenly, one after another violent thunder fell from the sky, crazily striking down and bombarding the bodies of the Xie race people. The group of dragons covered the sky and covered the earth. The thunder and lightning seemed to be cleansing the earth and enveloped the surroundings of the divine inscription mountain. The mountain god is also cursing in low voice because the divine inscription mountain is being violently attacked by the thunder and lightning. Luckily, they have the protection of a powerful barrier. Xie Juanhao's expression is extremely unsightly because most of the Xie race people he brought with him have died. If he knew that the group of dragons was summoned by Qin Yun, he would definitely flip out. More and more dragons are coming. There are more than 1,000 of them, and they are all incomparably huge. They are riding on the clouds, and the dragon aura on their bodies is incomparably terrifying, causing all humans to feel very insignificant. After the Xie race people were killed, the thunder and lightning also disappeared. Everyone thought that it would calm down just like that, but the sky is still covered by a thick layer of 9 colored clouds. The thick layer of 9 colored clouds in the sky is like a part of the sky, floating over from 2 different directions. The thick layer of 9 colored clouds floating over from 2 different directions are like 2 pieces of sky, as if they are going to collide. 2 incomparably powerful dragon auras are rushing over from 2 different directions, about to collide. Rumble! The 2 sides of 9 colored clouds in the sky collided. The intense explosion and violent shockwave immediately caused the earth to surge up and down. Many deep cracks appeared on the ground. Some places were even shaken to the point where huge craters appeared. The huge Tian Shao city is located on the ground. Many of the buildings in the city were shaken to the point of collapse. The 2 races of the dragon race are actually competing in the sky. The originally beautiful prairie has also turned into a wasteland. The thick clouds in the sky suddenly dispersed when they collided. Those huge dragons' bodies flickered with intense light, then turned into a ball of light and gradually turned into human form. Qin Yun and the others are at the top of the mountain. They can feel the terror of that power the most. Qin Yun is also astonished as he collected those remnant souls. There is no need for me to do anything, those bastards from the Xie race are all dead. Let's quickly run. Mountain God said in low voice. Those huge monsters are too terrifying, I am temporarily not their match. After saying that, the divine inscription mountain also slowly moved, wanting to leave this place of trouble. Don't move! A shout enveloped the area. The divine inscription mountain also did not move. 2 groups of people suddenly descended from the sky. All of them are wearing battle armor. All of their faces are filled with battle intent, as if they could fight at any moment. The originally arrogant Xie Juanhao doesn't even dare to fart at this moment. Those big shots of the major powers are secretly apprehensive. They know that the dragon race is very strong, but they have never seen them appear in such a large scale. Furthermore, there are 2 groups of them. Everyone's heart is filled with doubt. Why did these 2 groups of dragons suddenly appear here? It is as if they have arranged to fight here. Shao Kongjian and Shao family's elders are all apprehensive in their hearts. They are very worried that if these 2 groups of dragons fight here, the heavenly desolate city will definitely be turned into a mess. The big shots of the major powers now know that there are still very strong factions in the immortal desolate. Especially the Xie race. They originally thought that they are invincible in the immortal desolate, but now it seems that if they want to overturn the dragon race, they will have to pay a great price. 2 groups of dragons in human form are standing on an empty space, facing each other without saying a word. This kind of calm before the storm, it is incomparably oppressive. After Qin Yun calmed down, he took the white mask from Xiao Yuemei and put it on. He said in a loud voice, I am the sect master of the inscription gate. This mountain is my sect's divine inscription mountain. Friends of the dragon race, since you want to fight here, I will move the divine mountain to make it more convenient for you. Qin Yun is also worried that the divine mountain will be destroyed. Who opened the 9 heaven-shocking dragon formation? The one who spoke is a very tall and sturdy old granny. She has a head full of white hair. She is holding a long staff with 9 dragon heads in her hand. She is wearing a red cloak and red armor. This is the leader of the group of dragons. She is also a very powerful immortal emperor. Moreover, the leader of the group of dragons is a tall and sturdy old man. He has a head full of short white hair, white beard and eyebrows are very long. He is holding a dragon head saber in his hand. His face is filled with dignity as he glared at the old granny. This old man must be the immortal desolate dragon emperor. The 9 heaven-shocking dragon formation has appeared again. Who exactly opened it? The immortal desolate dragon emperor let out a deep roar. Qin Yun looked at Xiao Yuemei and suddenly realized that although the 9 heaven-shocking dragon formation can summon many dragons, it can also attract hatred. When the leaders of the 2 groups of dragons asked questions, their voices were filled with anger. Xiao Yuemei is somewhat nervous. She lowered her head and said in low voice, Brother, you must calm down. She also did not expect that the 9 heaven-shocking dragon formations effect to be so outstanding. It actually brought over so many powerful dragons. It was opened by Xie race's Xie Juanhao. Qin Yun suddenly had an idea and shouted, "My guess is that they want to borrow the power of the dragon race to destroy my divine mountain. Furthermore, the Xie race thinks that they can dominate the immortal desolate, so they want to use this opportunity to slaughter dragons to establish their might." Xie Juanhao cursed countless times in his heart. Qin Yun is simply pushing him into a pit of fire. Xiao Yuemei and Xiao Yingying both let out a long sigh of relief. A trace of smile appeared on their faces. Qin Yun said again, "In the entire immortal desolate, only the Xie race has the resources to do this kind of thing, right? In the immortal desolate, only the dragon race can stop the Xie race from dominating the immortal desolate. The Xie race has already been exterminated," the old man leader said coldly. "They haven't been exterminated, their boss is hiding inside the heavenly desolate city," Qin Yun said again. Suddenly, a powerful killing intent surged towards the heavenly desolate city. The mental power of the dragon race experts swept through the group of people at the city gate. Very quickly, they sensed Xie Juanhao's aura. Xie Juanhao cursed loudly, "Qin Yun, you little bastard, just you wait." He hastily activated a teleportation talisman and teleported away. Xie Juanhao doesn't know how to explain this to the dragon race because their Xie holy dragon was chasing after a little dragon just now. He suspected that the 9 heavens shocking dragon array was most likely created by Qin Yun. Xie Juanhao's escape confirmed that he was the one who opened the 9 heaven shocking dragon formation. The two groups of dragon race people no longer suspect the divine mountain. Bing Xing was also secretly worried because she knew that the 9 heaven-shocking dragon formation was created by Qin Yun. The old granny looked at the immortal desolate dragon emperor and said coldly, "Long time no see. I didn't expect that after so many years, we would meet again because of the 9 heaven-shocking dragon formation." "Red Sun Dragon Mother, do you want to fight?" Immortal desolate dragon emperor said in deep voice. "You should know that the reason why we became enemies was all because of that little bastard Fu Yun. That brat Fu Yun has been dead for many years, don't throw the blame on him." Red Sun Dragon Mother angrily rebuked. "Back then, it was clearly your fault." Chapter 1578 1578 Chapter 1578 Red Sun Dragon Mother Mountain God said to Qin Yun in a low voice, "Should we go or not? If we don't leave and they start a war, this divine mountain will be in danger." Qin Yun does not want to leave Tian Shao City because he wants to wait for the gate of the ancient garden to open and then contact the spatial god. If the leaders of the two groups of dragons started fighting here, the Shao family's villa might also be flattened. If he wanted to contact the spatial god, he would have to wait for a period of time. He suddenly thought of a way and took out the magic mirror to contact the hiding Xiao Hua. Xiao Hua is nearby, he is just hiding. He has a rather special robe that can make him invisible after putting it on. "Sect Master, what's the matter?" Xiao Hua asked. He had just witnessed the process of the Xie race being exterminated and knew that the 9 heaven-frightening dragon formation was created by Qin Yun because Qin Yun had asked him for the formation pillar before. Later, run out and tell the 2 dragon bosses about the ancient garden. They definitely don't have many passes. Qin Yun said, "Tell them that if they want to fight, they can fight after entering the ancient garden. We can't let them destroy the Shao family's villa, we still have to contact the spatial god." "Sect Master's brilliant plan," Xiao Hua said with smile. "We just so happen to have a lot of passes that we haven't exchanged yet. These guys from the dragon race must have a lot of resources." Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor and Red Sun Dragon Mother coldly looked at each other, releasing powerful dragon power that clashed with each other. Xiao Hua suddenly rushed out. Seeing Xiao Hua come over, Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor said coldly, "Human, don't interfere in our dragon race's matters. Don't meddle in other people's business." Everyone is very surprised to see Xiao Hua suddenly appear. They can't understand why Xiao Hua would run over. This will anger the dragon race. The two big shots of the dragon race are both very strong dragons, they are both great emperor-level existences. And the immortal emperors here have not reached that level, so they all watched from afar, not daring to run over. Xiao Hua still walked over with a smile on his face. "Seniors, have you heard of the ancient garden?" Xiao Hua asked. As expected, Xiao Hua's words attracted the interest of Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor and Red Sun Dragon Mother. They were originally looking at each other, but now they are looking at Xiao Hua. "I have the ancient garden pass, but I don't know where the entrance is. Do you know?" Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor asked. "I know." Xiao Hua then told them about the ancient garden's gate that was about to open very loudly, so that the two groups of dragons could hear him clearly. And the great powers like the Xian family and immortal sect cursed Xiao Hua countless times in their hearts. Originally, the competition in the ancient garden was very intense. Not only did they have to face the Nine Suns sect, they also had to compete with the major powers that entered with them. And now, the Dragon Clan has joined in and they are very strong. Those major powers all knew that Xiao Hua suddenly ran out to take the opportunity to peddle the passage pass. After Xiao Hua finished speaking, he looked at the group of people at the city gate with a smile and said, "My friends from the dragon race, the great human forces will definitely welcome you to join us. They cur Xiao Ants King Yun. They will. They will. The Yun said. The family shout. "If you have any grudges, it would be best to settle them in the ancient garden. If you fight here, it will affect the opening of the ancient garden's gate." Xiao Hua said again, "Oh right, how many passes do you have?" The anger of Red Sun Dragon Mother and Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor seemed to have subsided a lot. The middle-aged and young people behind them are also very interested in the ancient garden, because in their inherited memories, there are many legends about ancient gardens. The ancient garden is very attractive to the powerful dragon clan. They all want to go in and take a look. "We have more than 30 passes," Red Sun Dragon Mother said. "Do you have a lot? Are you willing to give them to us?" Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor rushed to say, "I only have 20, you must give them to us. I still have 200 or 300 passes. One pass for 500 gene of Instant Void Immortal Iron and 5 gene of Saint Profound Silver Crystals." After Xiao Hua finished speaking, he looked at the group of people behind him and said, "They have also exchanged quite a few with me. They are all at this price, I am not cheating you. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask them." The group of big shots behind Xiao Hua cursed in their hearts again. They did not expect that Xiao Hua still has 200 or 300 passes and he wants to give them to the dragon race. Great powers like Immortal Family and Devil Immortal Heavenly Sect also want to exchange for more passes, but they don't have enough resources. Xiao Hua said again, "Both of you have more than 150 members. As long as you exchange for 100 passes with me, I will give you some more passes so that your younger generation can go in and broaden their horizons. At the same time, it will also show our inscription gates respect for the dragon race." This is what Qin Yun taught him. "Alright, I will exchange with you," Red Sun Dragon Mother said. "I don't have that many things on hand, I want to go back for a trip." "We will also exchange," Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor shouted. "We will go back to get Instant Void Immortal Iron and Saint Profound Silver Crystals." Xiao Hua said again, "You too, when the time comes, you will also need to use some power to open the gate of the ancient garden. This should not be a problem for you, right?" "Sure," Red Sun Dragon Mother said. "Of course there is no problem." Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor finished speaking, then soared into the sky and left with his juniors. Red Sun Dragon Mother also flew away with her people. The two clans of the dragon race have finally left. Shao family elders let out a sigh of relief. If war truly broke out here, they wouldn't be able to stop it. Their heavenly desolate city would also be destroyed. Xiao Hua is very happy now. He walked towards the city gate with a smile on his face and said to those people, "Did you all see? Dragon Race has also joined. With their help, opening the gate will be even easier." Many immortal emperors wish they could beat up Xiao Hua. They don't want Dragon Race to join in, that would only cause the competition to become even more intense. Guanghan Palace and Nether Sect don't think much of it because to them, no matter how many people enter, it is all the same. Xiao Hua and Wei Zhong are now leaving together. It is safer this way. If the two big shots of the Dragon Race return, they will directly contact the inscription Divine Mountain. At that time, they can call Xiao Hua out. Qin Yun felt a lot more relieved after the Dragon Race left. But he is still worried because sooner or later, he will have to face the Dragon Race. Finally we are safe. Mountain God also let out a sigh of relief and said with smile, "One day I will make these bugs submit under my feet." Ha ha ha! Qin Yun took out the floating cloud pagoda and pulled Xiao Yueme inside. Yueme, the effect of the 9 heaven shocking dragon formation is truly remarkable. You never said that you had any conflict with my past life's dragon race. Qin Yun said with smile. Xiao Yueme pouted and said in low voice, "Brother, I was wrong. I nearly caused a great disaster. I thought that only a few dragons would come. I did not expect that even the dragon race's dragon emperor would be alarmed." Qin Yun caressed her face and said with smile, "Isn't everything fine now? Quickly tell me, what kind of enmity did my past life have with the dragon race?" I am also not too clear. I only know that your past life used the 9 heaven shocking dragon formation to summon those formidable dragons many times. Then took advantage of the time when they left their nest to steal their things. Xiao Yueme lightly sighed and said, "This is what your past life told me. Then what did you steal? Is it very important to the dragon race?" Qin Yun stroked his chin and said with frown, "That immortal desolate dragon emperor and scarlet sun dragon mother are husband and wife. Could it be that they quarreled because of me? I heard you say that the thing you stole is very precious and later became a part of the floating cloud heavenly seal." Xiao Yueme said, "It might be that seal head. The floating cloud heavenly seal still lacks a seal head to be complete. It is said that it is a dragon carving that can run everywhere." Qin Yun took out the compass used to search for the floating cloud heavenly seal and saw the needle moving. He saw it several times before and every time he looked, the direction of the needle is different. "Brother, that old granny seems to be very good to you. She seems to be protecting you. Do you want to have a chat with her?" Xiao Yueme said. "She calls me Brat Floating Cloud. From the way she addresses me, it seems like we are very familiar with each other, that's why she calls me that." Qin Yun nodded. "It seems like I will have to find an opportunity to have a chat with her." Xiao Yueme said, "Brother, should we refine more passage tokens?" "Of course." Qin Yun said with smile. "Let's begin. We will make this divine mountain even stronger. This will be our home from now on." Next, Qin Yun and Bai Zhe began refining passage tokens, moreover they are refining a large amount of them. A few days passed by, Xieyang race people did not appear. They originally wanted to enter the ancient garden, but when they heard that Dragon Race is also participating, they shrank back. It is impossible for Xieyang race to send a lot of people, they can only send a few experts to cause trouble. Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor did not personally come. He sent another old man to find Xiao Hua and exchange passage tokens with him. Just like this, Xiao Hua obtained another 50,000 genes of instant space immortal iron. Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother personally came over. She told Xiao Hua that she and Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor will not enter the ancient garden, they will send other people to go with them. Clearly they don't want to fight in the ancient garden. They spent so many resources to exchange for passage tokens, if they go in and fight, it will be a waste. Qin Yun asked Xiao Hua to bring a message to Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother, saying that Inscription Gate's sect master wants to meet with her alone. Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother also agreed because she feels that Inscription Gate is very powerful. They have a very strong divine inscription mountain, and they also have a large number of passage tokens. In the past few days, the dragon race, who rarely come in contact with the outside world, also began to inquire about all kinds of major events in Immortal Desolate. They want to clearly understand what happened during this period of time. Qin Yun released the floating cloud pagoda under the divine inscription mountain and waited for Xiao Hua to bring Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother over. The members brought by Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother are now in Heavenly Xiao City. They are in charge of leading the team into the ancient garden. They are also dragons with immortal emperor cultivation. They are currently communicating with Xiao family people. Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother entered the first floor of the floating cloud pagoda. Xiao Hua did not follow her in, instead she stood guard outside. After she entered, she saw Qin Yun wearing black clothes and a mask. Qin Yun took off his mask, revealing a handsome smiling face. After Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother saw Qin Yun, she is very shocked. She tightly grasped the long staff in her hand and looked at Qin Yun's face with wide eyes. Chapter 1579. Long Tianwen, Grandma, sit down first, Qin Yun said with smile. Then he took out the pastries and juice made by Xiao Yingying and placed them on the table beside her. Red Sun Dragon Mother suppressed the shock in her heart and slowly sat down. She kept looking at Qin Yun. My past life was Immortal King Fuyun, but I don't have any memories of my past life. I don't know much about my past life. Qin Yun sighed lightly. I don't know much about my past life. Red Sun Dragon Mother nodded. I see. No wonder you are so unfamiliar with me, Qin Yun said with a smile. Grandma, a few days ago, I saw you call me Brat Fuyun, so I thought you were easy to talk to, so I decided to meet you. So, you were the one who set up the 9th Heaven Dragon scare array? Red Sun Dragon Mother asked. Yes. Originally, I only wanted to lure over a few dragons to deal with Evil Sun Holy Dragon. I didn't expect the result to be so strong. I even lured over 2 dragon race clans. Why do you have so many passes? Red Sun Dragon Mother said, and they are so expensive. Qin Yun did not reply. Instead he took out a storage pouch and handed it over to Red Sun Dragon Mother. He said with smile, Grandma, this is the Instant Space Immortal Iron and Saint Mysterious Silver Crystal I will return to you. Since we are on the same side, I don't want yours. How about this, I'll give you the Instant Space Celestial Iron, but I'll take back the Sacred Mystery Silver Crystal. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. We are also lacking resources recently. Instant Space Immortal Iron is not very useful to us, it is mainly used to make altars. We don't need to build the altar anymore. Qin Yun took out 5,000 Jin of Sacred Mysterious Silver Crystals and handed it over to Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother. Then he asked, Grandmother, what happened between me and your dragon race back then? Does that immortal desolate dragon emperor want to kill me? Don't be afraid of him. Back then, he clearly lost to you and promised to give you the heavenly dragon deity sculpture, but he didn't do it in the end. The Red Sun Dragon Mother waved her hand and said, He said that he had to consider the big picture of the dragon race and wouldn't give it to you no matter what. I felt bad, so I conspired with your past life to help you take away the heavenly dragon god statue. So that's how it is. Qin Yun now knows that the heavenly dragon god statue is the third part of the floating cloud heavenly seal. That old man doesn't know that you and I are working together, and I didn't tell him. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. Can't the conflict between the two of you be resolved? Qin Yun can see that Red Sun Dragon Mother and Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor were originally very loving. Regarding this matter, Qin Yun secretly felt guilty. Red Sun Dragon matriarch laughed. You little brat, although you don't have the memory of your previous life, you still feel very guilty about this matter, just like you did in your previous life. Qin Yun sat down and said, Grandma, I am very apologetic. After all, you husband and wife have been fighting for so many years. Red Sun Dragon Mother laughed and said, Nothing much, we just separated for a period of time. Our juniors often communicate with each other in private. That's good. Qin Yun nodded. Kid Fu Yun, you have provoked the Xieyang race this time. I heard that you destroyed one of their Xieyang. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. And you have enmity with the immortal desolate Great Emperor and demon immortal Great Emperor in your previous life. My old man is also stubborn. Maybe he wants to teach you a lesson. Don't worry, I can handle it, Qin Yun very calmly said with smile. In this life, you are even more troublesome than in your previous life. In your previous life, you were an immortal king, now you are just a little gold immortal, yet you dare to mess around like this. You must be careful, don't get killed again. Red Sun Dragon Mother said with great concern. Grandma, can you do me a favor? Qin Yun suddenly asked. Say it, I will definitely help you. In your previous life, my dragon race is indebted to you, it's just that that old man is ungrateful. I am not that kind of person. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. I will need some time to enter the ancient garden. I am worried that during this time, Xieyang will attack the Guanghan Palace. Xieyang will attack the Guanghan Palace. Qin Yun said. If the Guanghan Palace is surrounded, can you go and help? Red Sun Dragon Mother nodded and said, I will definitely help, I will definitely help. The Guanghan Palace was destroyed before, at that time we were not able to go and help. This time, we cannot let the tragedy happen again. Qin Yun relaxed a lot, he asked with smile. Grandma, how did I help the dragon race in my previous life? Red Sun Dragon Mother let out a long sigh and said, You helped us restore the very precious 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. And the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation was modified from the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Therefore, the fluctuation released by the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation is very attractive to us dragons. Qin Yun asked doubtfully, Why were you all alarmed together? Why is the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation so attractive? Because our 9-dragon heavenly origin formation suddenly broke many years ago, so when we sensed the fluctuation, we immediately came to take a look. I thought it was the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, I did not expect it to be the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. As far as I know, the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation was created by my previous life. Why do you believe that the Xieyang race also has this kind of formation? Qin Yun cannot understand this point, he asked. Could it be that immortal desolate dragon emperor did not discover it? So he is now going to find the Xieyang race, and ask them how they obtained the 9-heaven dragon frightening formation. Red Sun Dragon Mother said with smile. Qin Yun got up, walked back and forth a few steps and said, Grandma, if I can help you create a 9-dragon heavenly origin, will immortal desolate dragon emperor forgive me? Can you really create it now? Red Sun Dragon Mother is somewhat doubtful, she shook her head and said, You can't create it, no one can. The 9-dragon heavenly origin formation we needs dragon heavenly rune as the core, that is the true 9-dragon heavenly origin. Dragon heavenly rune? This is the first time Qin Yun has heard of this kind of thing. Indeed. It was passed down by our dragon race ancestors, but then it mysteriously disappeared. From then on, we completely lost the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. If you can truly create it, this old man will definitely not pursue this matter anymore. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. Qin Yun said with frown, It might take a bit of time, but I will definitely help you. I hope you can succeed. Red Sun Dragon Mother nodded and then looked towards a corner. Grandma, what is it? Qin Yun asked. There seems to be someone over there. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. Xiao Yueme immediately appeared and said in low voice, Grandma, it's me. Yueme? Red Sun Dragon Mother abruptly got up and very excitedly said, You are also alive. I have also been reincarnated, but I still have my past life's memories, Xiao Yueme said with smile. You little girl, you swindled me of so many things back then. Red Sun Dragon Mother scolded with smile. Qin Yun secretly curled his lips. Xiao Yueme pretended to not know Red Sun Dragon Mother before, but now it seems like she has done many shameful things. Grandma, is your 9-dragon heavenly origin formation very important? Xiao Yueme asked. Very important. If 9 suns exterminate the world, our dragon race will have to go to the outer space. Without the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, we will be looked down upon by other dragon race. Red Sun Dragon Mother said with sigh. Before, some races from the outer space came to find us, they had the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation and made us unable to raise our heads. 9-dragon heavenly origin formation can make dragon race's dragons even stronger. Qin Yun said. I saw Long Family's 9-dragon heavenly origin formation before. Long Family and dragon race's relationship should be very good, right? Their 9-dragon heavenly origin formation is not complete. It doesn't have dragon heavenly rune. Moreover, Long Family's dragons don't get along with us. We are not on the same side. Red Sun Dragon Mother said. Grandma, you should go back first. I will surely help you complete the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Qin Yun said very confidently. I hope so. Red Sun Dragon Mother did not place any hope on Qin Yun. She took out a red token and handed it over to Qin Yun and said, Enter the ancient garden. If you need any help, use this Red Sun Dragon scale to contact our race's dragons and ask them to help you. Many thanks, Grandma. Qin Yun took the Red Sun Dragon scale that looks like a token. He and Xiao Yueme sent off Red Sun Dragon Mother and then returned to Divine Inscription Mountain. Xiao Hua entered Heavenly Austere City to gather all kinds of information. Qin Yun is very interested in the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, especially that dragon heavenly rune. Xiao Bai, Xiao He, have you heard of dragon heavenly rune? Xiao Yueme asked after returning. He Shu Bai Zhe is refining a passage token. I have heard that dragon heavenly rune beasts have this kind of heavenly rune. But they are very rare. I don't know if there are any in Immortal Desolate. Bai Zhe said. Immortal Desolate is so big there should be some, right? Qin Yun asked. Even if there are, it will be very difficult to find. Moreover, this kind of inscription beast is very strong. He Shu said. Qin Yun said, No matter what, I must find it. Bai Zhe said with smile. Sect Master, we will do our best to help you find it. We inscription beasts are all connected. Really? How come I have never seen you contact other inscription beasts? Xiao Yueme asked. Big sis, you don't understand this. The inscription beast can send messages in all directions using an invisible mental wave. And we have special perception power. We can receive this kind of mental wave and obtain information. He Shu said. So it's like this. It seems like I am ignorant and ill-informed. Xiao Yueme said with smile. At this time, Xiao Hua sent sound transmission through magic mirror. Sect Master, the entrance to the ancient garden has been repaired. They are preparing to open it. Do you want to go take a look? Of course, where is it? I will let Old Mountain move the entire mountain there. Qin Yun asked. I will go back and lead the way for you. Xiao Hua said. Xiao Yueme excitedly jumped up and said with smile. We are finally going to open the entrance to the ancient garden. What exactly is inside the ancient garden? I don't know, but we will be able to enter very soon. Qin Yun is also very much looking forward to it. After obtaining the Sun Soul, he set off to find the last part of the floating cloud heavenly seal. Under the control of the mountain god, the inscription Divine Mountain began moving. Xiao Hua flew in front and led the way, guiding the inscription Divine Mountain towards the entrance of the ancient garden. Chapter 1580. Ancient Era's Gate. Chapter 1580. Ancient Era's Gate, the prairie where Heavenly Desolate City is located, has been destroyed beyond recognition by the two big shots of the dragon race. The Shao family and the others have now arranged for people to reorganize this prairie. When the Divine Inscription Mountain moved, it alarmed many people in the prairie. They all moved out of the way. Not long after, the Divine Inscription Mountain rushed out of the prairie. It is like a huge ship moving, very stable and very quiet. The Divine Inscription Mountain seems to be floating on the ground. This is the mountain god's special ability. It can make a mountain move on the ground as if it is moving in water. Because they want to enter a group of mountains, the Divine Inscription Mountain is blocked by many large mountains. This is not difficult for the mountain god. Along the way, as long as they are blocked by a large mountain, the mountain god will control the Divine Inscription Mountain to swallow the mountain that is blocking their way. In less than half a day, Qin Yun and the others saw the entrance to the ancient garden from the top of the mountain. It is a very large arch bridge, only half of it. From afar, it looks like a huge broken bridge. This bridge is several thousand meters long and over 100 meters wide. It looks like it was built with light golden brick. After approaching, they can see that there are many runes on the bridge. Originally, this bridge was pressed down by several huge mountains and could not be seen. Now, those huge mountains have been moved away. This bridge was damaged before, especially the runes on it. The damage is rather serious. Fortunately, the Li and Wang families of the Inscription World led a team over, so it can be repaired very quickly. Xiao Hua, who is flying in front, also landed on the ground. Qin Yun walked out of the Divine Inscription Mountain and saw Wei Zhongxing flying over. Grandpa Wei, when will it begin? Qin Yun asked. We still have to wait for the Inscription World's inscription masters to discuss the specific. We still don't know, but it will definitely be soon. It will be in the next few days. Wei Zhongxing said. In any case, we won't have to do anything when the time comes. We just have to wait here patiently. Qin Yun said with a smile. The arrival of the Divine Inscription Mountain is very eye-catching. Although many people have seen that huge mountain before, now that they see it, they still yearn to obtain the divine fruit of that huge mountain. Li Xingqi, who is wearing a white robe, suddenly flew over and said to Qin Yun with a smile, Brother Qin, you have fished up a lot of instant space immortal iron. Elderly, roughly when can we enter the ancient garden? Qin Yun asked. Maybe 3 days later. Li Xingqi said. We are currently inspecting the overall runes. We will work through the night and make the best use of the time to complete it so that everyone can enter early. You guys have worked hard. Qin Yun said with smile. Li Xingqi said with a smile, Brother Qin, there don't seem to be many people in your inscription gate. Don't tell me that only a few of you are going in? We are just going in to join in the fun. We don't plan to get anything. Qin Yun said with a faint smile. That's right. Anyway, you guys have already earned a lot by relying on the passage pass. Of course, you don't care about the resources inside. Li Xingqi nodded and smiled. Qin Yun looked around and secretly transmitted his voice to Li Xingqi. Brother Li, I'll tell you a piece of information. You must make good use of it. Please speak. Li Xingqi heard Qin Yun's voice transmission and is very curious about the news. After entering the ancient garden, I can't use any spatial storage artifacts. Before you go in, take out your commonly used things or equipment. Otherwise, once you go in, you won't be able to take things out from the storage magic treasure, Qin Yun said. He also informed Wei Zhongxing and Bing Xing about this matter. After Li Xingqi finished listening, his face revealed a trace of smile and nodded. If those major powers entered the ancient garden without any equipment, they would be a lot weaker. After entering the ancient garden and coming out, the passage pass will become useless. If you want to enter again, you can only use a new passage pass. Qin Yun said. And I understand. I will make arrangements in advance. Li Shengqi said with smile. I will return first. Qin Yun returned to the divine inscription mountain and properly rested. He is waiting for the gate of the ancient garden to open. 3 days passed by very quickly. Qin Yun originally wanted to bring He Shu and Bai Zhe in, but they suddenly decided not to go in. They want to stay outside and send a message to contact the dragon heavenly rune beast. Furthermore, they want to look after the divine inscription mountain from outside. Lu Jian and Xiao Hua are not sure if they can enter or not because they are only going to take a look inside. Many formidable immortal emperors and immortal kings are standing on the huge broken bridge. Following Li Shengqi's shout, they released formidable immortal power together. The arch bridge suddenly absorbed the immortal power and a golden door suddenly appeared on the broken bridge. It looks like an illusion, but after a careful look, it seems that the door is real. This is different from what I have seen before. Qin Yun is secretly startled. At this time, the immortal emperors and immortal kings standing on the bridge sensed that more than half of their immortal power has been sucked out. Did it succeed? Someone asked. It should be, the door has appeared. Li Shengqi said with smile. The huge door suddenly appeared on the broken bridge. It is standing there like a gate of heaven. After the door opened, a dense spatial wave accompanied by an ancient aura shook out. Who wants to go in and take a look? Xiao Kongjian somewhat excitedly said. The door is open, but we don't know what the situation inside is. If there is danger, I'll send a puppet in. An old man from the Qi clan took out a puppet giant that was more than 2 meters tall. The puppet giant madly rushed on the bridge. Its speed is very fast. After arriving at the broken bridge, it jumped and rushed into the huge door, entering another space. The bridge is more than 100 meters wide. The door is even wider than the bridge. It can allow many people to rush in at the same time. There are only several thousand people on the bridge, and among these several thousand people, only 2,000 have passed. Everyone is looking at the old man from Qi family, waiting for the result of his investigation. Qi family old man frowned and shook his head. Lost contact. Maybe it is because of the difference in space. Qin Yun brought Xiao Yueme and Xiao Hua, walked over with smile and said, That puppet has no pass, it directly went in, it will definitely be taken to some damned place. Everyone also thinks so. How about this, I have a lot of pass, my inscription gate will go in and take a look, then come out and inform everyone about the situation inside. Qin Yun said. Just as he was about to walk towards the door, he was stopped by an old man from Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate. Wait, what if you go in and don't come out? Then wouldn't we have to wait for you? The old man said. The Immortal Family old man coldly snorted and said, Qin Yun, if you find something good inside, maybe you will fish it up yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so eager to take the risk and rush to the front. Many people nodded, they are also thinking the same thing. They believe that Qin Yun is rushing to the front to fish up the good stuff first. Hey, I am testing the danger with my own body, why do you all think so? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, There is definitely no danger inside, how about we go in together? Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate looked at their alliance. Don't make wild guesses, the ancient garden is very dangerous. Qin Yun shouted. If you don't believe me, you will regret it. Let me go in and check it out first. Long Family old man said with smile. The more Qin Yun says there is danger inside, the safer it is. Everyone, don't believe his nonsense, my Long Family will go first. We have so many immortal emperors, what are we afraid of? Long Family also have more than 100 pass. When they rushed towards the gate, Xiao Family, Qi Family, Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate, Xian Family and Heavenly Tiger Star also rushed over. Nether Sect and Guanghan Palace did not move, Shiman Family and Qin Family are also not in a hurry. Dragon race's humanoid dragons are also watching from outside. Li Xingqi said, "They have been inside for a long time, it is time for us to go in and take a look." Xiao Kongjian is Xiao family's patriarch. He and a few elders have not gone out because they are afraid that something unexpected might happen. The people from the other factions had left a few people outside, but none of them had a pass. Xiao Kongjian looked at nether sex people and said, "It should be very safe, you can also go in." At this time, some people suddenly ran out, all of them are immortal kings. 2 people from each faction ran out, there are more than 10 of them, all of them are carrying bags. After they came out, their expression became somewhat unsightly. What happened? Could it be that they were all wiped out? Xiao Hua said in shock. After Xiao family's immortal king came out, he cursed in low voice. "Inside an ancient garden, you can't take things out of storage magic tools, you can't even put things inside storage magic tools. Then what should we do?" Xiao Kongjian is very shocked. This news also caused the people outside to be extremely shocked. Wei Zhongjing and the others already knew about this, but now they are pretending to be shocked. Xiao family's immortal king opened the bags on his back. Those are the storage magic tools they brought with them. He said, "We need to take out all the equipment inside and carry them inside, otherwise our people won't have any equipment to use." "But we don't have pass." Xiao family's immortal king looked at Qin Yun and said, "Patriarch, do you still have pass?" "No, I gave them all to you." Xiao Kongjian cursed in low voice. "We were too careless, we should have sent some people in first." Qin Yun also did not expect these people to be so stupid. It must be because they are too greedy, they wanted to be the first to enter, so they rushed in like a swarm of bees. "Pass? I have it," Qin Yun said with smile. Seeing Qin Yun's smile, Xiao Kongjian feels as if his flesh is being cut off. "How did the 2 of you get so much equipment?" Qin Yun said. "If you take too much in one go, you might not even be able to enter. I think at least 5 people should go in with equipment." At this time, Wei Zhongjing and Bing Xing also brought people and rushed in. Nether Sect and Guang Han Palace's people also took out their equipment. Dragon Race and other factions' people are all wearing equipment, they are holding weapons and rushing towards the large door. Originally, Long family and Xiao family wanted other people to help them bring in equipment, but since everyone is rushing in so bluntly, it is clear that they don't want to help them. In other words, if they want to bring in equipment, they can only go through Qin Yun. "Master Qin, we don't have that much instant space immortal iron," Xiao Kongjian said with bitter expression. "Can we owe them first?" Chapter 1581. Immortal King Divine Mountain. Though there were quite a few heavenly mountains in Tianzhou, none of them were occupied by the major forces. Most of the divine mountains in Heaven Province are Immortal King or Heaven Immortal level, they are all occupied by inscription beasts. And the rarer Immortal Emperor level divine mountains also have powerful inscription beasts on them, moreover there are more than one. It is not easy for major powers to occupy a few divine mountains, some of them even have to pay a great price to occupy. Heaven Province's divine mountains are very precious to major powers. Xiao family people heard that Qin Yun wants those divine mountains and immediately felt heartache. "I know that you don't have many instant space immortal iron and mysterious saint silver crystals, that is why I asked you to use divine mountains to exchange," Qin Yun said with smile. "No!" Xiao Kongjian yelled. Xiao family elders shook their heads one after another. "Then forget it. If you don't want it, I won't force you," Qin Yun said. They all know that Qin Yun wants those divine mountains to feed his own divine mountain with inscription. Inscription Divine Mountain came from Earth Province and ate all the edible divine mountains in Earth Province. Now, only Heaven Province's divine mountains can satisfy Inscription Divine Mountain's appetite. But Qin Yun's group strength is limited, it is not easy to obtain divine mountains from Heaven Province. Because there are many powerful inscription beasts guarding them, Even if it is a heaven immortal level divine mountain, it will be very difficult to devour them. Qin Yun feels that as long as he can get a few good divine mountains for Inscription Divine Mountain to eat, it will increase the strength of Inscription Divine Mountain by a lot. Maybe it will evolve into a heaven immortal level divine mountain. At that time, attacking heaven immortal level divine mountains will be very easy. Your Shao family promised me that as long as the gate of the ancient garden is opened, you will let old Shao contact the space god. Now that the gate of the ancient garden is open, you should fulfill your promise. Qin Yun said. Shao Kongjian is now gnashing his teeth. Other major powers elders are also gnashing their teeth while looking at Qin Yun. They are in a hurry to enter the ancient garden and hand over the equipment to the people inside. Inside the ancient garden, they can't use storage magic tools. Without equipment, it will be very difficult to move an inch. Now, only major powers like them don't have equipment. Powerful factions like Nether Sect, Shiman family and Dragon Race have all brought their equipment with them. If they encountered powerful beasts or other powerful creatures inside, they would suffer heavy casualties if they weren't prepared to deal with them. In that case, their efforts to enter the ancient garden would have been in vain. They would have bought so many passes for nothing, but in the end it would be like drawing water with a wicker basket. Shao Kongjian, hurry up and bring me to the front of the divine altar of the god of space. Shao Hua said, you guys have to keep your word. You guys signed a contract with me back then. Shao Kongjian clenched his teeth, stomped his feet and said, fine, my Shao clan is willing to give you a divine mountain. Celestial immortal level, okay? I want an immortal king level divine mountain. Qin Yun said. No. An elder of the Shao family said. If you can't, then forget it. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, anyway, it's up to you to give or not, I won't lose anything. My Qi family is willing to give you an immortal king level god mountain. An immortal emperor elder of the Qi family walked over and said, then how many passage tokens will you give us? 10. Is that enough? Qin Yun asked. Enough. Qi family still has 2 immortal emperors outside, their status is very high, they can make the decision on this matter. Alright, then sign a soul contract with old Shao. Qin Yun said with smile, then took out 10 passage tokens. Those powers secretly calculated, Qin Yun has exchanged more than 1,000 passage tokens. They are very puzzled as to why Qin Yun has so many passage tokens. We are also willing to exchange. An elder from Heavenly Tiger Star shouted. Soon after, Xian family, Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate and Long family also agreed to exchange. They are willing to use an Immortal King level Divine Mountain to exchange for 10 passage tokens. These 10 passage tokens are incomparably precious because they can bring important equipment inside. If they don't, the people inside will be crippled inside. Shao family is very unwilling, but they have no choice but to agree. They can only agree to exchange and sign a soul contract with Shao Hua. Qin Yun only gave out 60 passage tokens, but the harvest is incomparably great. Alright, you guys arrange people to bring the equipment inside. After a period of time, old Shao will go and get your divine mountain. When the time comes, you must send people to properly receive old Shao. Qin Yun said with smile. Those few immortal emperors cursed Qin Yun 1,000 times in their hearts. They wish they could pinch Qin Yun to death on the spot. However, they don't dare to act recklessly because there are many people from various powers here who are secretly protecting Qin Yun. Soon after, Qin Yun and Shao Hua followed Shao Kongjian and flew towards the Great Prairie. Shao Yume brought Shao Yingying back to the Divine Inscription Mountain. Many people are inquiring about the situation inside the heavenly desolate city. They also want to enter the ancient garden, but they don't have passage tokens. Qin Yun and Shao Hua finally arrived at the mountain inside the Shao family manor. Space God's divine altar is inside the mountain. Shao Kongjian brought Qin Yun and Shao Hua into a cave and arrived at a large dusky stone room. Don't destroy the space god's divine altar. Also, you can only stay inside for 10 days. If you can't contact the space god within 10 days, that's your problem, Xiao Kongjian said in cold voice. He also doesn't know why Xiao Hua wants to contact the space god. He only suspects that Xiao Hua wants the space god to help him take back the position of family master. Xiao Kongjian walked out of the stone room, closed the door and waited outside. Qin Yun is not in a hurry to enter the ancient garden because it is very important for him to meet the space god. He wants the space god's help to remove the restriction on the star god's transportation of resources to the lower realms. This way, the star god won't need to be sneaky when transporting things. Every time they transport things, they won't lose a lot of things. Furthermore, he wants to ask about the heaven-leaping shuttle and other secret information. Xiao Hua took out a large illuminating stone and illuminated the dusky stone room. Qin Yun looked at the space god's divine altar. It is silvery white, it looks like a three-legged table. The top is also triangular, it looks very strange. That's it, Qin Yun said with frown. This is the space god's divine altar? That's right. Xiao Hua nodded. Qin Yun walked over and looked at the divine altar's surface. There are no runes at all. It is silvery white and very smooth to the touch. There is nothing special about it. How can I contact the space god? Qin Yun said with a frown. This divine altar is very special. Sect Master, for many years, the space god has been cold and indifferent to us. We don't know how to contact him. We can only communicate with him by chance, Xiao Hua said. Qin Yun walked around the table, trying to think of a solution. Originally, he wanted to take out the star god altar, but after thinking about it, it might not be of much use. Because the space god doesn't seem to need an altar, he only has a very simple divine altar. After thinking for a while, Qin Yun took out a small statue. It is his divine seat. He gripped his deity position tightly and injected his mind power into it. The small statue suddenly trembled slightly and released a kind of golden aura. This is a rarely seen movement. In the past, when he poured his mental power into the small statue, it never happened like this. Could it be because of that divine altar? Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. Xiao Yun, concentrate your mental power and give it a try. Ling Yun'er said. There should be a spatial formation inside the divine altar that can communicate with the space god. Qin Yun also concentrated his mental power. Through his divine seat, he released a very strong mental power into the divine altar. Xiao Hua watched from the side. He did not know what Qin Yun was doing. Just as he was feeling puzzled, the divine altar suddenly moved. Sect Master, the divine altar moved. Xiao Hua said in surprise. How did you do it? Xiao Hua is very clear that once the divine altar moves, it means that there is hope. I'm not too sure either. Should I contact the space god? Qin Yun asked. This is the sign of the space god's manifestation. Sect Master, continue. Xiao Hua said with a face full of pleasant surprise. I won't disturb you any more. Qin Yun continued to use his mind to sense the divine altar. The divine altar that had been trembling suddenly stopped moving. Xiao Hua sighed softly. He felt that he did not succeed. However, in Qin Yun's mind, he heard a voice. Who are you? Why do you have the sun god's divine seat? It was the old man's voice, filled with bewilderment. I am Qin Yun. In my previous life, I was the sun god. Qin Yun answered truthfully. You should be the space god, right? You reincarnated again? The space god is somewhat surprised. Why did you die again? I don't know. I don't have the memories of my previous life. Qin Yun sighed. Brother, my situation is rather complicated. You don't have 8 souls and 9 spirits. It is already extremely difficult for you to be able to reincarnate again. Furthermore, you can also find your divine seat. This is a good thing. The space god said with a smile. I hope that you can return to the divine desolate in this life and return to your position. Brother, I want to know some things about me back then. Can you tell me? Qin Yun asked. You will know when you need to know. Even if you know now, it's useless. The space god laughed heartily. Don't be too obsessed with finding the memories of your previous life. This kind of thing should take its course. After all, this life is a new beginning for you. Otherwise, you won't be able to live a new life in this life. If you go back to your previous life's memories, wouldn't that be very boring? It makes sense. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Now that you have been reborn, you are like a new bottle. Don't use a new bottle to contain the old wine. The space god said. All right. Qin Yun felt relieved and said, Then can you help me with a small matter? If you encounter any difficulties in this life and can contact me, it means that the debt I owe you has not been repaid. The space god said with smile. Qin Yun told the space god about him dismantling and refining the sun altar. After he finished speaking, the space god did not respond. Hey brother, why aren't you talking? Qin Yun asked. He and the space god are communicating through thought. Chapter 1582. Bright moon in the garden. Qin Yun called out a few times, but the god of space did not respond. Brother, are you afraid? Is that why you don't dare to answer me? Asked Qin Yun. Ahem, that's not it. I was just making sure that there were altars that had been torn down. The god of space finally spoke. You really know how to cause trouble. You're still in the immortal desolate, yet you're already causing so much trouble? The god of space did not know about the matters of the divine wilderness. Clearly, he did not know much about it. This surprised Qin Yun. He thought that the god of space was omniscient. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, It can't be helped, they provoked me. Am I supposed to hide? The god of space smiled and said, Your personality is quite similar to before. Looks like the wine in your new bottle still tastes the same as before. I am now cooperating with Star God. She is restricted in Divine Desolate. She can't give me too many things through the altar. I have 18-layer altar, but the restriction is too great. Can you help us? Qin Yun said. Qin Yun's intentions were clear. He wanted the god of space to control the spatial laws that transported items to the lower realms. This is a bit difficult. Moreover, I still have to take a huge risk. The god of space said. Risk? What kind of risk would result in the punishment of the heavenly Tao? Asked Qin Yun. If the 9 Yang Divine Palace finds out, I will be punished. The space god said. Of course, the reason the star god is restricted is also because the 9 Suns sect does not allow her to use those spatial tunnels. This is the fault of those fellows. Brother, open a passage for the star god. Qin Yun said. All right, who asked me to owe you? The god of space sighed and smiled. I will help you. However, the passageway that the star god gave you isn't the best. In short, it's much better than before. That's fine. Qin Yun didn't want to make things too difficult for the space god. He asked, When will it be completed? About a month. The god of space said, I'm breaking the rules. I have to do it secretly. Try to be as secretive as possible. It doesn't matter if it takes a long time. Qin Yun said with a smile. You just said that the 9 Yang Divine Palace will discover it? Is the 9 Yang Divine Palace still in the 9 Wastelands? I don't know. The space god said. I have also been searching for the 9 Yang Divine Palace, but I haven't found it. But I feel that the Divine Wilderness still has the power of the 9 Yang Divine Palace. So you also don't know where the 9 Yang Divine Palace is? Qin Yun is somewhat surprised. He thought that the space god knew many things. I really don't know. However, I have some clues. Let's talk about it when you come to the Divine Wilderness, the space god said. Qin Yun added, Brother, you gave me a heaven-leaping shuttle in the past. Can you sense where it is now? The space god said, I can't sense it because it's already yours. I only know that it is still in the immortal desolate. I asked the Shao family to look for it. Qin Yun was somewhat disappointed. He had planned on getting the god of space to help him search. The space god smiled. Do you have any other questions? Qin Yun thought of the ancient gardens and told the spatial god about the ancient gardens in the immortal desolate. He also asked about the restrictions on storage magic treasures in the ancient gardens. The reason why there are restrictions on storage magic treasures in the ancient gardens is because the rune laws are different. There is another set of spatial rune laws inside the ancient gardens. If you want to use storage magic treasures inside, you have to figure out that set of rune laws. The space god said. There are other different rune laws? What kind of laws are they? Qin Yun asked. My guess is that you need the sunspace rune. I have this kind of rune, I can pass it to you. The space god said, how about this, I will pass you a few spatial runes and totems. You can study them yourself. Alright. Qin Yun is very happy. Not long after, several sets of runes and totems appeared in his mind. Thank you, brother. Qin Yun said with smile. Do you have anything else? If not, I will help the star god open a passage. The space god said with smile. Brother, wait, I still have something. Qin Yun told the space god about the Sun Emperor inscription spirit. You actually obtained that thing. The space god is very surprised and said, if you want to break it, it will be very difficult. Why? Qin Yun asked. Whether it is Xie, the star god, or the immortal desolate sacred master, they all said that it is very difficult to open the thing that sealed the Sun Emperor inscription spirit. Even if there is a way, it is only theoretically feasible. I heard that it is sealed by the Nine Yang Divine Palace, and only the Nine Yang Divine Palace can open it. The space god said, strange, why did the Nine Yang Divine Palace leave behind such a precious inscription spirit? That inscription spirit should have had an owner long ago. Qin Yun heard before that the Sun Emperor inscription spirit is unique. It is not like other inscription spirits that can be refined by others. Is that so? I heard from the divine arrow spirit that the Sun Emperor inscription spirit is sealed by the power of nature. Qin Yun said, moreover, no one has ever possessed it. Divine arrow spirit? What he said might not be accurate. The space god said, the Sun Emperor inscription spirit must have been possessed by someone for a period of time. Later on, they must have been unable to adapt to it and sealed it. Qin Yun is also very puzzled. He can only think of a way to open it later. Soon after, he told the space god about the Shao family. The space god said that he will no longer have contact with the Shao family in the future. It is a kind of punishment. There is also the matter of Shao Yingying. The space god said that it is a kind of innate power that Shao Yingying has awakened. She can control space and so on. In short, it is a good thing. Alright, I will go busy with your matter now. If I succeed, the star god will feel it. You can ask her at that time and you will know. The space god said, we should not contact each other in the future. I am also being watched very closely. And it has been hard on you, brother. Qin Yun said. Xiao Hua saw that Qin Yun is in a daze and did not call out to him. Instead, he quietly watched from the side. Qin Yun and the space god have ended their contact. It will not be easy for him to contact the space god again in the future. He now understood that in the divine wilderness, the god of space had no choice but to be monitored by others. Seeing Qin Yun open his eyes, Xiao Hua asked, Sect Master, how is it? Qin Yun said with a smile, Success. Success? That's great. Xiao Hua is very happy. The space god said that he will cut off all contact with Shao family from now on. He also said that Sister Yingying's situation is a good thing. That is Sister Yingying's innate ability. You must properly nurture Sister Yingying. Qin Yun said. Xiao Hua found out that Xiao Yingying has a special spatial innate ability, and became even more happy and excited. Qin Yun and Xiao Hua walked out of the stone room. Xiao Kongjian said with sneer, "Why did you come out so quickly? Did you not have any harvest at all?" Qin Yun said with smile, "You just need to prepare to hand over the divine mountain." Xiao Kongjian's expression became gloomy as he thought about giving Qin Yun an immortal king-level divine mountain. He cursed in his heart. Xiao Hua went to find the immortal emperors of the major powers and discussed the handover of the divine mountain with them. Qin Yun returned to the divine inscription divine mountain. Xiao Yueme and Xiao Yingying are waiting for Qin Yun at the top of the mountain. After Qin Yun returned, Xiao Yueme ran over and asked, "Brother, how is it, how is it?" "It went very smoothly." Qin Yun laughed and said, "Yueme, Sister Yingying, let's prepare to enter the ancient garden." Xiao Yingying said in low voice, "Brother Xiao Yun, I don't want to go. I am too weak, I don't want to implicate you. I will stay here and wait for you. I want to learn inscription and tool refining from Brother Bai Zhe and Brother Qin Yun. He Shu and Bai Zhe also don't want to enter the ancient garden because they have learned many things from Qin Yun and want to quickly digest them." Mountain God said, "Sister Yingying will be very safe here, don't worry." He Shu said with smile, "Sect Master, we will definitely take good care of Sister Yingying." Bai Zhe and He Shu are very happy to be together with this little human sister. They treat her like their own little sister. Even a fool like Mountain God is very protective of Xiao Yingying. "All right." Qin Yun nodded his head, then said to Mountain God, "Old Mountain, I will help you get 6 immortal king-level divine mountains. After you eat them, you should be able to evolve very quickly, right?" "That's for sure," Mountain God said with smile. Soon after, Qin Yun gave Mountain God a storage bag filled with 500 to 600,000 genes of instant space immortal iron. Qin Yun only left 50,000 genes with him. He feels that it is enough to use in the ancient garden. Xiao Yueme hugged Xiao Yingying and said with smile, "Sister Yingying, I am going to the ancient garden. Wait until I come out, I will tell you some stories." "Sister Yueme, I will wait for you to come back." Xiao Yingying charmingly smiled and kissed Xiao Yueme's cheek. Soon after, Qin Yun brought Xiao Yueme towards the ancient garden's gate. On the way there, Qin Yun contacted Xiao Hua through the devil mirror and warned him to be careful of the evil sun rays. If he sees something wrong, he must immediately run away. Xiao Hua still has many passage tokens. He left them to exchange later depending on the situation, because the gate of the ancient garden will be open for a period of time. During this period of time, many people will surely be interested. After Qin Yun finished instructing, he brought Xiao Yueme and flew towards the large arch bridge. "Brother, there must be many good things in the ancient garden. Let's see if we have the ability to get them or not," Xiao Yueme said with smile. Her equipment are all inside Qin Yun's 9-sun divine soul. "Yueme, after you go in, you must be a bit obedient. Yuelon told me to take good care of you," Qin Yun said. Xiao Yueme stuck out her tongue at Qin Yun and said with smile, "Big sister also told me to take care of you." Qin Yun is not worried at all because inside the ancient garden, he has many powerful friends, for example, Wei Zhongjing, Bing Xing and Shimen Taigon. Back then, when Xiao Hua and Shimen Taigon made a deal, he gave them many preferential treatment to rope in Shimen family. Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme entered the gate and arrived inside the ancient garden. After entering the ancient garden, Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme are somewhat astonished. They appeared on a broken bridge inside the ancient garden. It is the other half of the large arch bridge outside. They stood on the bridge and can see a very large moon in the blue sky. Chapter 1583. Moon and Beautiful Night. Chapter 1583. Moon and Beautiful Night. Xiao Yueme has been in Guanghan Palace for many years, especially in her past life. She is very familiar with the moon. Yueme, is the moon here the same as the one in Immortal Desolate? Qin Yun asked. I am not sure, it doesn't feel like Immortal Desolate's moon. Xiao Yueme said. I heard that there are several moons. In different spaces one can see different moons. Qin Yun actually heard that Divine Desolate's moon is very special. During the day it is nether moon and during the night it is normal moon. Why are there different moons? Qin Yun asked in low voice. Can't we just go up and take a look? Xiao Yueme said with smile, then soared into the sky and flew towards the azure sky towards the huge moon. Wait for me. Qin Yun hastily chased after her. Their flying speed is very fast and in a short while they reached high in the sky. Qin Yun estimated that they have flown more than 10,000 meters high and the moon is getting bigger and bigger. However, he is still unable to clearly see what is on the moon's surface. Aya! Xiao Yueme is flying at the very front. She suddenly bumped into something and shouted loudly. Qin Yun also sensed a very strong aura just now. Xiao Yueme bumped into an invisible energy. There is a barrier. Xiao Yueme delicately groaned and said, It has been blocked, I can't go over. She covered her head, her forehead turned red because of the collision just now. Qin Yun touched the place where she was hit and said with smile, Does it hurt? It hurt a lot but it doesn't hurt anymore. Xiao Yueme looked at the huge moon and said, Why does this moon give people a feeling of lifelessness? Don't worry about it, let's go find Sister Bing Xing first. Qin Yun said, then took out the devil mirror to contact Bing Xing. However, the devil mirror did not react at all. Qin Yun recalled that the space law inside this ancient garden is different. Therefore, these space magic tools have lost their effectiveness. Xiao Yueme took out a talisman and said, The soul-chasing talisman can still be used. The soul-chasing talisman is indeed effective, it can sense Bing Xing's location. The first batch from the Guanghan Palace only has 100 or so people. Qin Yun said, They are coming in batches. This way, the other powers won't be disgusted. Nether Sect also sent 100 people in the first batch and 100 people in the second batch. Let's go. Xiao Yueme said. She held the soul-chasing talisman and flew towards Bing Xing's location with Qin Yun. I wonder if Sister Bing Xing and the others figured out the situation here after coming in. Xiao Yueme said. Qin Yun learned from the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master that this ancient garden has a restriction on cultivation. He and Xiao Yueme are not restricted, it is clear that they have not reached the highest cultivation level of the ancient garden. Some spaces and regions could not be entered if one's cultivation exceeded a certain level. This was relatively common. For example, the Great Dragon Desolate Domain or the Immortal Desolate Divine Mountains and Holy Lands were all like this. The main purpose was to protect the region from being destroyed by experts. There was another type of space that allowed people with extremely high cultivations to enter, but there was a very powerful divine power that restricted the power of those with high cultivations. For example, when a powerful immortal emperor was restricted, the immortal energy he released might only be at the level of an immortal king, or a heaven immortal, or even a golden immortal. This kind of spatial world was relatively rare, and even if there was one, it would be a very powerful one. If this ancient garden can truly restrict cultivation, then it is far more formidable than I imagined. Xiao Yueme said. Qin Yun nodded. There are many forests inside the ancient garden, but there are not many tall mountains. Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme flew for a while, but did not see any huge mountains. They only saw those 100-meter-tall small hills that occasionally appeared in some small forests. There are many huge trees in this ancient garden, especially those that are more than 1,000 meters tall. They are very common. 100-meter-tall trees can only be considered small trees here. Some of the small hills are not as tall as those huge trees. These trees are really big. Xiao Yueme exclaimed in admiration. Far away in the direction they are flying, there is a very large blurry shadow. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei subconsciously believe that it is an incomparably large tree. It might be as tall as 10,000 meters. Because it is very far away, they can see a very large shadow. After flying for a while, they can still see many trees. There is no flat land, no mountains or grassland. Sister Bing Xing and the others ran really far away. Xiao Yuemei's eyebrows are wrinkled, she is somewhat doubtful. Why are they running so fast? Could it be that they encountered danger? I also don't know where Grandpa Wei and the others are. Qin Yun said. I did not make a soul-chasing talisman related to him. I was too careless. He originally thought that with the magic mirror, he could directly contact them at close range, so he did not make a soul-chasing talisman. And the soul-chasing talisman can not only sense space, it can also follow remnant immortal power aura or soul wave to probe and find the target. Is it Dazhuang? Xiao Yuemei said. And Qin Yun nodded, then took out the soul-chasing talisman used to track Shimen Dazhuang. The direction it is pointing in is different from Bing Xing's direction. It seems like they are not together, Xiao Yuemei said. Let's go find Sister Bing Xing first. Qin Yun said. Don't tell me they are on that giant tree in front? Xiao Yuemei took out the soul-chasing talisman and saw that the direction it is pointing in is precisely that giant tree. Qin Yun said, Yuemei, let's stop. Xiao Yuemei immediately stopped, floated in the sky and asked, Brother, what's wrong? Qin Yun closed his eyes and released his formidable nether moon mental power, covering a large area around him. Not long after, he sensed a remnant fluctuation. Earlier, there was a very large thing flying over here. Its speed is very fast. Qin Yun said, I suspect that it is a huge flying magic tool. Could it be something like a flying ship? Xiao Yuemei said in astonishment. Sister Bing Xing and the others are riding on that huge flying magic tool? And maybe someone invited them. Qin Yun looked at the giant tree in the distance and said with frown, I wonder if it is one of the 9 sun sects. Xiao Yuemei said, Brother, I suspect that there are not only 9 sun sects here, there are also other powerful sects. It is possible. Qin Yun nodded. There is also another possibility, that the 9 sun sects have already merged with other powers and are not the original 9 sun sects. Xiao Yuemei said with smile. After all, they have been sent to this place for so long and their cultivation has been restricted. They must have lost their loyalty long ago. Qin Yun said again, Yuemei, we need to be careful. This place is not safe. He took out a short sword and handed it over to Xiao Yuemei. Then he took out a set of red gown and made her put it on. Those are all her equipment. Now Qin Yun is flying in front and Xiao Yuemei is following behind. Moreover, her speed has slowed down a lot. What made them feel somewhat vexed is that even in the evening, they are still very far away from the giant tree. They thought that they would be able to reach it at night. What kind of ghost tree is this? Xiao Yuemei lightly groaned and said, We can clearly see it, why can't we get there? It's like we are not moving at all, no matter how much we fly we can't get close. As night fell, the bright moon in the sky became even bigger, emitting a faint golden light. Although it is not as intense as the sun's light, it made the ancient garden become much warmer at night. Golden moon, Qin Yun said, it is indeed a very strange moon. Xiao Yuemei suddenly shouted, Brother, look at that giant tree. Qin Yun saw that the giant tree in the distance is actually emitting a kind of cold white light. The entire tree's branches and leaves are shining. They floated high in the sky and looked down at the forest below. They only felt that the trees here suddenly woke up, releasing all kinds of different kinds of light, as if they are in a bustling market with red flowers and green wine. The night of the ancient garden is actually filled with vitality compared to the day. The world seems to be jubilant at night, the flowers, plants and trees are all emitting a faint light. Especially those flowers, they are dispirited and listless during the day but at night, they are blooming very beautifully and brilliantly, even emitting a multicolored light. So beautiful! What exactly is going on with this ancient garden? Xiao Yuemei floated in the sky, looking at the gorgeous earth. Her beautiful eyes flickered with an intoxicated expression. She repeatedly praised. At night, all kinds of beautiful butterflies are flying here and there. There is also something that looks like a jellyfish. Its transparent body is emitting a faint light as it floated in the air. Some butterflies are very big, they look like people, and their wings are also shining. Xiao Yuemei pulled Qin Yun and flew through the forest. It is as if they have arrived at a multicolored sea of flowers forest. All kinds of strange flowers and plants are competing with each other in beauty. This ancient garden belongs to the night. Qin Yun said, "This is truly a mystical world. Is it a world created by people or is it naturally formed? Of course it's the uncanny workmanship of nature." Xiao Yuemei said with smile, "Brother, let's continue on our way. Quickly contact Sister Bing Xing." Qin Yun nodded, then flew through the sky with Xiao Yuemei towards the huge tree in the distance. After flying for 4 hours, they felt that the tree is getting closer and closer. And during the day, no matter how they fly, it is like they are flying in the same place. They are unable to shorten the distance. Why can we only get close at night and not during the day? Xiao Yuemei also sensed it. This might be related to space. At night, space is normal. During the day, there is a certain amount of space resistance, causing it to be very difficult for us to get close to the tree. Qin Yun said, "This is only my speculation. It seems like the space laws here are really different." Not long after, they saw many white eagles flying all around in front of them. When Qin Yun saw those eagles, he immediately pulled Xiao Yuemei and landed in the forest. "What's wrong?" Xiao Yuemei asked. Chapter 1584. Divine Tree Palace. Chapter 1584. Divine Tree Palace. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei are in the forest, following the guidance of the soul-chasing talisman. They want to find Bing Xing and ask her about the situation here. "Brother, do you think Sister Bing Xing and the others will encounter any danger?" Xiao Yuemei asked. "I don't think so. The overall strength of the Guanghan Palace is still very strong," Qin Yun said. "Furthermore, they have made ample preparations in advance. They have all kinds of equipment, immortal talismans and formations in their hands. They will be very safe." Xiao Yuemei walked in the forest and patted the glowing flowers and plants. The flowers and plants that she patted would release a burst of light mist. It is very fun. Along the way, Xiao Yuemei's hand did not stop at all. Whenever she saw something glowing, she would want to pat it. Qin Yun ran at the front and released his nether moon mental power to cover a large area. If there was any movement, he would be able to sense it immediately. The forest is very quiet. Only a slight breeze would occasionally blow, causing the flowers and leaves to rustle faintly. Other than some butterflies and small birds, there are no other beasts here. Qin Yun did not sense the aura of any powerful beast. However, he could sense that from time to time, a large eagle would fly over the forest. Just as Qin Yun had guessed, those eagles were in charge of scouting. He suspected that those white eagles might have been sent by the giant tree that could support the heavens. Because they have already arrived at the territory of the giant tree, those eagles came over to scout. "It seems like there are many disputes in this ancient garden," Qin Yun said. "The power that controls that tree must be hostile to other powers. That's why they are so vigilant, right? Brother, can you sense the sun soul here?" Xiao Yuemei asked. "I can't sense it." Qin Yun shook his head. "Yang Yang is asleep and the situation of the 9 Sun Divine Hammer is very unstable. I don't know how long it will take to sense the location of the Sun Soul." Xiao Yuemei smiled and said, "Even you can't sense it, it won't be easy for others to find it." Qin Yun nodded and said softly, "Yuemei, on the way here, did you sense any soul bodies?" Xiao Yuemei held a small mirror in her hand. Her small mirror can sense nearby soul bodies. It's all those big birds in the sky. There are no formidable spirit bodies nearby. Xiao Yuemei said. That's right, it's impossible for the Yang soul to be in such a place. Qin Yun said, although this place looks beautiful, it doesn't seem to have any resources. Even if there is, Xiao Yuemei said with smile, this is that big tree's territory. Although Qin Yun does not know much about this ancient garden, he is certain that there are many rich resources in this ancient garden. However, those resources must have been monopolized by some major forces. No matter what, now that we are here, we must fish something out. Xiao Yuemei shook the small mirror in her hand and said with smile. Suddenly, a spot of light appeared on her little mirror. She said in a low voice, Brother, there is a powerful soul body approaching us. It seems like something very strong is coming. There are several of them. Qin Yun promptly pulled Xiao Yuemei, used mysterious penetration divine ability power and cooperated with tree totem immortal power to enter a large tree, completely concealing their aura. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei are inside the thick tree trunk. They can see the situation outside, but the outside can't see the tree trunk. Not long after, several people ran over and stopped at the place where they just disappeared. These people are all young men. After they arrived, a large white eagle with a wingspan of several meters followed them. Ninth White Eagle said that there are 2 people here, a young white-clothed man said. Why did they suddenly disappear? Could it be that they discovered us? That's impossible. Our concealment ability is very strong. Even if they have very strong mental power, they won't be able to detect us. Qin Yun secretly agrees with this point. Because they were unable to sense these people just now, it can be seen that these people are very skilled in concealment. If not for Xiao Yuemei's small mirror, they wouldn't have been able to detect these people. Moreover, these people's speed is very fast. Xiao Yuemei only discovered them just now and then immediately rushed over. They should have discovered us and are hiding. A long-haired youth with face filled with cold arrogance looked all around and said with cold groan, The people who were here just now, quickly come out. As long as you don't have any other purpose, we won't harm you. You are trespassing on our Divine Tree Palace's territory. If you don't come out, once we find you, you will be punished. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei discussed through sound transmission and decided to go out and chat with these people. They suddenly rushed out from a large tree. Those few youths sensed them, but they didn't know that they were hiding inside the tree. They only saw them suddenly appear. We are from Immortal Desolate. Qin Yun directly explained his origin. We didn't know that this is Divine Tree Palace's territory. We only saw that mystical tree and flew over. Xiao Yuemei is standing behind Qin Yun. She is tightly holding her small mirror. She did not say anything, she only opened her eyes wide and looked at those Divine Tree Palace youths. Many people came from Immortal Desolate, but they are all from major powers. Why are you not with them? A youth asked. I am Inscription Gate's sect master. Qin Yun said with smile. I am Inscription Gate's Grand Elder. Xiao Yuemei also shouted. My Inscription Gate is a very powerful sect. These few youths are only golden immortal. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei are not afraid of them. Those few youths are startled and then burst into loud laughter. Captain Liang, did you hear? They don't seem to be as old as us, their cultivation is also not as high as ours. Yet one of them is sect master and the other little girl says that she is Grand Elder. Ha ha ha. This is too funny. Do they think we are idiots? Do we look so easy to fool? Are all the sects in Immortal Desolate like this? That long-haired youth said with smile. He is Captain Liang Yupeng. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei's expression is indifferent because this is within their expectations. Although their Inscription Gates people are few, they are quite capable in Immortal Desolate. Because they can obtain many passage tokens and Inscription Divine Mountain can also swallow other Inscription Divine Mountain. Captain Liang, right? We want to pay a visit to your Divine Tree Palace. I wonder if it is possible? Xiao Yuemei asked. Ha ha ha, visit? Only you two? Liang Yupeng laughed loudly and said. Indeed, only us. Qin Yun indifferently said. All right, follow us. Liang Yupeng said with smile. I can't guarantee whether or not you can go to Divine Tree Palace, but I can guarantee that you can follow us to the Divine Tree and broaden your horizons. Xiao Yuemei and Qin Yun can see that these few youths don't have any evil intentions, they just don't have much experience. Many thanks, everyone. Qin Yun cupped his hands and said with smile. In your immortal desolate, do you think that anyone can become a sect master? Liang Yupeng waved his hand and said. Indeed. Xiao Yuemei said with smile. As long as you have enough strength, you can establish your own sect. Liang Yupeng chuckled and said, So that's how it is. If it was in our immortal ancient garden, it would not be possible. To establish a sect here, you need permission. If you call yourself sect master, you will provoke a great deal of trouble. Let's go. Follow us. Liang Yupeng and others soared into the sky and flew above the forest. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei also followed behind them. Captain Liang, there should be 9 sun sects in the ancient garden, right? Qin Yun asked. Originally there were 8, but now there are only 3. Moreover, they are all huddling together. In this immortal ancient garden, the strongest sects are the 3 palaces and 6 sects. Our Divine Tree Palace is one of them. And then there are some small sects and families. Liang Yupeng also patiently explained. Xiao Yuemei asked. Are the 9 sun sects among the 3 palaces and 6 sects? They are, but they are not 3. Rather they have merged into one called Sun and I sect. Liang Yupeng said. Qin Yun thought that the ancient garden has already been occupied by the 8-9 sun sect. He did not expect that the 8-9 sun sects would actually be in such dire straits. From this, he realized that there were many other powers that entered the ancient garden, not just the 8-9 sun sects. Captain Liang, why are you so vigilant? This place is still very far from the Divine Tree. Xiao Yuemei curiously asked. Could it be that your Divine Tree Palace has very strong enemies? Little girl elder, you don't know, but our Divine Tree Palace has many regenerative ores nearby. Many thieves are eyeing them. In short, those big and small sects would come and steal our ores from time to time. Liang Yupeng said with smile. Xiao Yuemei doesn't like being addressed as little girl elder, but she did not say anything. Regenerative ores? Qin Yun is somewhat amazed. When he was in Great Dragon Desolate Domain, he already knew that the instant space immortal iron can be regenerated. Indeed. They are all crystal ores, all kinds of crystals. Don't have any idea about those crystal ores, you will die. Liang Yupeng solemnly warned. Got it. Xiao Yuemei curled her lips and said. She truly has that kind of idea. Petty theft and such is what she likes to do the most. Qin Yun now understands why Divine Tree Palace sent out so many big white eagles. Moreover, their reaction is very fast. Not long after they entered this area, they were discovered. While flying, the large sword on Liang Yupeng's back suddenly flew out of its sheath and floated in the air. The other few youths' expression also suddenly changed. They all unsheathed their swords one after another. What's wrong? Qin Yun asked. There are enemies nearby. Liang Yupeng said with frown. Or thieves. Let's go, we will kill them. A youth shouted. Liang Yupeng immediately flew towards a certain direction. His speed is very fast, those few team members are unable to keep up. After all, he is the captain, he is very strong in all aspects. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei are also following behind. They want to see the strength of Divine Tree Palace disciples. Brother, their strength is very good, Xiao Yuemei said in low voice. Chapter 1585. Other entrances. Chapter 1585. Other entrances. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei followed behind and discovered that there is a very small mountain below the forest in front of them. This mountain is covered by dense trees. It can only be seen when approaching. After entering the dense forest, they can clearly see the situation of this small mountain. This small mountain is completely bare. There are many gray stones on its surface. If one looks carefully, they can see that these gray stones are flickering with sparkling and translucent light. It is an ore mine, Ling Yuner said. Those silver lights should be crystal particles. Could it be an ore mine of sacred Xian silver crystals? Very likely. Qin Yun is secretly amazed. If this ore mine is refined, it will surely produce a large amount of sacred Xian silver crystals. Before he blindly guessed that there are many sacred Xian silver crystals and instant space, immortal iron here. Now it seems like there are truly many resources here. Liang Yupeng led his team and flew to the top of the hill. Then, he looked around. Near the hill, there were many small red flowers, and on the large patch of flowers, there were many little glowing butterflies flying back and forth. Suddenly, those butterflies flew towards a tree. Over there! Liang Yupeng yelled. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei are now on top of a large tree, looking at the situation below. They now understand that those butterflies are Divine Tree Palace's spies. Butterflies are flying towards that tree. It means that there are people hiding in the vicinity of that tree. After Liang Yupeng rushed over, the tree suddenly exploded. Rumble! With a loud explosion, the tree's trunk shattered. The energy wave rushed out and killed all the glowing flowers and plants in the vicinity. What caused Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei to be amazed is that those butterflies just floated around along with the energy wave. They were not killed. It can be seen that these butterflies are special species. They are not that easy to kill. Liang Yupeng rushed over and was forced back by the explosion's energy wave. After the tree was destroyed, a figure jumped out from inside. That person very nimbly jumped into the tree. He wanted to escape, but Divine Tree Palace's disciples are not to be trifled with. They immediately chased after him, and sent flying swords stabbing towards him. Xiao xiao xiao, the flying swords stabbed forward with sharp whistling sound. It looks like several light beams shot out. The thief suddenly waved his hand and cast out a black net, trapping the flying swords in it. At the same time, more than 10 men in black suddenly appeared on the surrounding trees, holding black bows and arrows in their hands. Liang Yupeng and the others were surrounded, and only Liang Yupeng had a weapon. "Be careful!" Liang Yupeng anxiously shouted, then rushed towards those few team members. The arrows suddenly shot out. Although there were only a dozen or so black-clothed people holding bows and arrows, they shot out many arrows. A large number of black arrows densely covered the sky. After Liang Yupeng went over, he brandished the great sword in his hand and released powerful golden immortal power with the others to form a barrier to defend against the terrifying rain of arrows. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei can now see that these bandits are very professional and well prepared. They have already anticipated that they would deal with this small team. That was a mine of profound Saint silver crystals, enough for those bandits to pay such a huge price. "Which sect are you from?" Liang Yupeng asked angrily. "The equipment in your hands is so refined, it's definitely not from an ordinary sect." Those black-clothed people did not say a word and continued shooting crazily. The earth suddenly trembled. The ground beside the small mountain suddenly split open and a crocodile head the size of a house popped out. This is a huge crocodile. It drilled out from the ground, opened its mouth and began gnawing on the profound Saint silver crystal mine. "Brother, attack!" Xiao Yuemei said in low voice. Qin Yun nodded, took out his 9 heavens dragon lion cannon and shot a cannon arrow at the crocodile's head. Although the crocodile has very tough and thick armor, Qin Yun's cannon arrow has been mixed with a great amount of Saint tier materials and a small amount of divine iron powder. It is also carved with arrow totems. It has absorbed formidable golden immortal power and has very strong penetrating power. The cannon arrow is like a golden light, it is very dazzling in the dusky forest and pierced through the crocodile's head. The cannon arrow contains formidable mental power. After piercing through the crocodile's head, the mental power burst out and attacked the crocodile, causing it to let out a burst of roar and spit out all the ores it just ate. Liang Yupeng and others are extremely startled. They did not expect that this puny sect master would have such good equipment. "Who?" a black-clothed person shouted in alarm. They don't know that Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme are in the vicinity. That black-clothed person is the one who took away the flying sword. Qin Yun's eyes flickered. He used light transformation's sacred pupil and rushed towards that black-clothed person. He fiercely chopped down with his ninth heaven mysterious king's saber. And Xiao Yueme is now secretly dealing with other black-clothed people. In just a short while, she stabbed one to death with her short sword. Those who came to steal ores are all second or third level golden immortal. Although Qin Yun is only first level golden immortal, his immortal power is very fierce and tyrannical, especially when released through the heavenly Tao's fierce power. It can increase even more. Boom! Qin Yun's saber chopped down. The black-clothed person did not have enough time to dodge. He could only release an immortal power barrier, but it was chopped apart by the saber. The black-clothed person was jolted back and leaned against a large tree. Qin Yun closely chased after him, unleashed the heavenly Tao's fierce power with all his strength and unleashed six-style wind slayer. In a split second, wind and clouds surged in the forest, lightning flashed and thunder rolled. One saber power after another is like raging waves and stormy seas, fierce and tyrannical. The saber wind is like swallowing mountains and rivers. The saber power is like riding the wind and breaking the wave. This kind of imposing manner is like it can cut the heavens and break the rivers. 6 consecutive saber slashes, without any sloppiness. Each slash is filled with boundless ferocity. This kind of mental pressure causes people to feel fear. That black-clothed person only managed to block 3 slashes before his saber was chopped apart. His body was chopped off by the last 3 slashes, one of his arms was chopped off, his body was also chopped into several pieces. And the rain of arrows are all shooting towards Qin Yun, but it didn't last long before it was cut off. Because Xiao Yueme has already killed several black-clothed people who shot the arrows. Liang Yupeng and others also attacked one after another, furiously pouncing towards those black-clothed people. After their flying swords broke free from the net, they can control them again. Under their control, the flying swords rapidly stabbed and killed several black-clothed people in a short while. Now Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme stopped attacking. They are standing on the trunk of a large tree and looking at the Divine Tree Palace disciples killing the remaining black-clothed people. Liang Yupeng is very apprehensive while fighting. He is very clear about the critical situation just now. If Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme did not take action, they would have been finished. Earlier they laughed at Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme for calling themselves Sect Master and Grand Elder, but now they don't think so anymore. Especially Qin Yun's 6-style Wind Slayer, it looks like a very ordinary saber technique. Its ability to excavate immortal power is not outstanding, but it is still very strong. From this, it can be seen that Qin Yun's foundation in all aspects is very good. The battle ended very quickly. Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme slowly landed on the ground. "Many thanks for your help," Liang Yupeng promptly said to Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme. His eyes are filled with gratitude. Soon after, other young men walked over and thanked Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme. Moreover, they repeatedly praised their formidable strength. They even felt that Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme could easily kill them. If Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme were those kind of heinous and unforgivable people, they would have already taken action and seized the sacred mysterious silver crystal or mine. But they did not do so because they know that this Divine Tree Palace is very good. Moreover, it even took in Bing Xing and the others. No need to be polite. Qin Yun faintly smiled and said, "You should be more careful in the future." investigate the situation clearly and then take action. There were so many people just now, it was very dangerous. We will definitely be more careful in the future. Liang Yupeng looked at the messy ground and said, I really did not expect that they would use so much power this time. Their losses are not small. That giant crocodile has already been killed. There are many fragments on the ground, all of them are sacred mysterious silver crystal ore. Ores need to be refined, and the amount of sacred mysterious silver crystal produced after refining is not much. The battle here attracted the attention of the nearby teams. Not long after they arrived, Liang Yupeng left this place to those teams to deal with. Then he brought Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme towards the divine tree. Now, only Liang Yupeng is bringing Qin Yun and Xiao Yueme towards the divine tree. The other team members are busy cleaning up the ore mine. Why is there no one guarding such a big ore mine? Xiao Yueme very curiously asked. That ore mine is not big, it is rather small. We don't plan to dig it, we want to wait for it to grow a bit bigger and the quality of the sacred mysterious silver crystal to increase, then we will start mining. There are many such small ore mines near our territory. If we set up formations to protect them, our inscription masters will be very busy. Liang Yupeng said. Qin Yun is secretly startled. The resources inside this ancient garden are very rich. There are actually many ore mines here. Liang Yupeng said again. Those sacred mysterious silver crystals are not for us to absorb, they are for the divine tree to absorb. After the divine tree absorbs the energy inside, it will bear fruits, we will eat the fruits and become stronger. Qin Yun asked, Captain Liang, what is your position in the divine tree palace? It can only be considered average. Liang Yupeng said. In this ancient garden, although cultivation is restricted to heavenly immortal realm, it is still possible to break through unceasingly. Heavenly immortal is above golden immortal, Liang Yupeng is only second-level golden immortal. His position can be imagined. Although you are the sect master and elder of a sect in Immortal Desolate, you are only golden immortal, it is not enough for you to be valued by the Divine Tree Palace. Liang Yupeng said again. It doesn't matter, just take us to the Divine Tree. Qin Yun said. He and Xiao Yueme only want to see Bing Xing, no problem, you are my benefactors, although the Divine Tree Palace will not entertain you, I will. Liang Yupeng said with smile. There are many people gathered under the Divine Tree, there are several cities. If you go there, you will be able to quickly understand the situation of the ancient garden. Xiao Yueme curiously asked, Why are there so many people in the ancient garden? Could it be that people have been entering the ancient garden for so many years? Liang Yupeng said. Originally, only people from Immortal Desolate could enter the ancient garden, but then more and more passages appeared. A total of more than 10 of those broken bridges appeared. Apart from people from Immortal Desolate, there are also people from other spaces who can enter. Over time, more and more people came. How can this be? Qin Yun is very surprised. Chapter 1586. Chapter 1586. Divine Tree Star City. Qin Yun feels more and more that this immortal desolate ancient garden is not simple, it is actually connected to other spatial world. Why is it like this? Doesn't ancient garden belong to the Nine Sun world? Why are there people from other worlds coming here? Qin Yun asked. I don't know about that, there are several spatial worlds that can be connected to each other. Liang Yupeng said. Don't worry about these things, since you people from Immortal Desolate came here, you should properly adapt to the situation here and then bring back as many resources as possible. Qin Yun doesn't lack instant space immortal iron. He only lacks sacred Xian silver crystals. Since there are so many sacred Xian silver crystals in the ancient garden, he is very concerned about them. Captain Liang, how many cities are there under the Divine Tree? Did your Divine Tree Palace receive a group of people from Immortal Desolate before? Xiao Yueme asked. Liang Yupeng nodded and said, Divine Tree Palace indeed received a group of people from Immortal Desolate. I heard they are from Guang Han Palace. I don't know the specifics, I am just a small team captain patrolling outside. I don't know anything about the upper echelons of Divine Tree Palace. Xiao Yuemei and Qin Yun are heading to Divine Tree to meet up with Bing Xing, but now they are met with great resistance. Captain Liang, do you have any way to let us enter Divine Tree Palace? Xiao Yuemei asked. Divine Tree Palace? It is very difficult to enter. Disciples like us fight to the death to enter the Divine Tree. Do you know how difficult it is? Liang Yupeng said. He said before that his position is very ordinary, he belongs to the outer circle of disciples. Otherwise, he wouldn't need to patrol outside all day. Xiao Yuemei lightly sighed and asked, Then how can we enter Divine Tree? Liang Yupeng looked at the incomparably huge sky supporting tree and said, There are 5 cities under the Divine Tree, from 1-star city to 5-star city. The root of the Divine Tree is in that 5-star city. Then are we going to that 5-star city now? Qin Yun asked. Of course not, you and I can only enter 1-star, 2-star and 3-star cities. You need to meet certain requirements to enter 4-star and 5-star cities. Liang Yupeng shook his head and said, Some of the descendants of the Divine Tree Palace's elders can't even step into 5-star city because they can't reach the standard. Thus, they've become a laughingstock and are mocked by others. So strict. Qin Yun thought that as long as one has a certain amount of wealth, they could enter the city. It's that strict, Liang Yupeng said. Only by entering a 5-star city can one become a core disciple of the Divine Tree Palace. What about the people from the Immortal Desolate? They were invited to Divine Tree Palace. Where are they now? Xiao Yuemei asked. I heard that they boarded a large ship and flew directly to the top of the Divine Tree. This is a special treatment. Liang Yupeng pointed ahead and said, 5-star city is very big. There aren't many people inside, but only those with status in the ancient gardens can enter. People from other sects can also enter the Divine Tree Palace's 5-star city? Qin Yun thought that only with the Divine Tree Palace's permission could one enter the city. There are quite a few 5-star cities in ancient gardens, and a few powerful sects have built them. The outstanding disciples of the various sects, or those who have obtained the qualifications to enter the city, can all enter those 5-star cities. Liang Yupeng said. How can I obtain the qualifications? Xiao Yuemei suddenly felt that it will be very difficult to find Bing Xing and others, unless they leave the Divine Tree. Obtain contribution points. That is to help the Divine Tree Palace do all kinds of things, then accumulate contribution points. When they reach a certain amount, they can obtain the qualifications to enter a 4-star city. Then help the Divine Tree Palace do even more difficult things in the 4-star city and continue to accumulate contribution points. Finally, they can obtain the qualifications to enter a 5-star city. Liang Yupeng said, I lead a team to patrol outside to earn contribution points. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei looked at each other and said, So troublesome. They are people who don't follow the rules very much, so now they only have one thought, that is to think of a way to sneak into a 5-star city. Liang Yupeng said, To enter the 5-star cities of other sects, it is the same, you have to do all kinds of trivial things for them. Qin Yun asked, What are the benefits of entering a 5-star city? Is it worth it? Of course it's worth it. The 5-star cities under the Divine Tree are connected to the roots of the tree. The roots are very mystical, they can produce some special spring water or flame, they are very good for refining pills and tools. Liang Yupeng said, In short, by relying on the Divine Tree in a 5-star city, one can obtain all kinds of conveniences, cultivation can advance by leaps and bounds, especially for us golden immortals. Hearing this, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei became even more curious. Furthermore, when the divine tree blooms, many petals will fall. Those are also very useful things. Not to mention divine fruits and such. Liang Yupeng said again. Xiao Yuemei suddenly felt that there might be many delicious things inside the five-star city. Her beautiful eyes flickered with light and she licked her lips. At night, the night scenery around the divine tree is very beautiful and gorgeous. Qin Yun learned from Liang Yupeng that the reason why the ancient garden is like this at night is mainly because of the golden moon in the sky. Liang Yupeng doesn't know much about the golden moon. He only knows that it appeared a long time ago. Liang Yupeng also said that once the 9 suns fall, as long as the golden moon is still there, the ancient garden will operate normally and will not be affected at all. Qin Yun originally thought that the ancient garden is only a place to preserve Sun Soul, but now it seems that it is not that simple. Living beings from many spatial worlds can enter this place, and there is also a mysterious golden moon. Not long after, Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei followed Liang Yupeng to the Divine Tree One-Star City. This one-star city doesn't have any great city protection formation or city walls. Anyone can enter as they please. Therefore, this kind of one-star city is filled with crooks and honest folk. Spies from various large sects and all kinds of villains are gathered here. Apart from this, there are also some bullies and gangs. There is no flight restriction in the sky above the city. People can fly as they please. All kinds of large and small flying tools can be seen flying around in the sky in a disorderly manner. There are also many collisions that lead to dispute. After all, this is a big city under the divine tree. If a big fight broke out here, the consequences would be very serious. Generally, it would only be a big quarrel or a small fight. If a city extermination battle broke out, both sides involved in the battle would be hunted down by the Divine Tree Palace. On the way, Liang Yupeng told Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei all kinds of things they need to pay attention to. Xiao Yuemei is somewhat disappointed in her heart. She originally thought that Liang Yupeng would be able to bring them to the bottom of the Divine Tree. Although they are now under the Divine Tree, there is still some distance between them and the Divine Tree. They are now very close to the Divine Tree. Qin Yun is also disappointed, but he wants to go to the vicinity of the Divine Tree even more. The Divine Tree is incomparably sacred. Ordinary people cannot approach it. If they approach it, they will be mercilessly killed by the Divine Tree Palace's people. Liang Yupeng warned Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei not to approach the Divine Tree casually, or they will die without knowing why. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuemei have arrived at this strange place. They don't dare to act recklessly before they understand the situation. They are now at Liang Yupeng's residence. It is located in the southeast region of the one-star city. It is very quiet and not very chaotic. It is the 8th floor of a building. There are many rooms and a spacious hall inside. In ancient times gardens, people used sacred mysterious silver crystal coins to trade. Liang Yupeng took out a crystal coin and said, "This is also called silver crystal coin." Qin Yun took it and said in amazement, "One crystal coin weighs 1 jin." Sacred mysterious silver crystal is very heavy, but Qin Yun did not expect that the crystal coin would weigh 1 jin. He has several thousand jin of sacred mysterious silver crystal in his hand. That is only 5,000 crystal coins. In Immortal Desolate, this is a great amount of wealth. The main reason is because sacred mysterious silver crystal is very rare in Immortal Desolate. Moreover, the main purpose of trade is to trade other things. Qin Yun carefully looked at the sacred mysterious silver crystal again and discovered that there are special runes on it. He asked, "Can't we refine sacred mysterious silver crystal coins ourselves?" "Of course not, only sects with 5-star cities can refine them," Liang Yupeng said. "Sacred mysterious silver crystal has saint power inside. After refining it into crystal coins, we must seal the saint power so that people don't use it for cultivation or other things. This will lead to a shortage of crystal coins." Qin Yun feels that it will not be difficult for him to refine these crystal coins. Xiao Yuanmei asked. Captain Liang, we have sacred mysterious silver crystal, how do we exchange them for crystal coins? Go to a bank and exchange them. 1. 5 gene of sacred mysterious silver crystal for 1 silver crystal coin. Liang Yupeng said. So shady. Qin Yun curled his lips and said. There is no way around it. Without silver crystal coins, you won't be able to survive in an ancient garden. Liang Yupeng said with smile. Of course you can also exchange in private, 2 gene for 1 silver crystal coin. But by all means, don't get caught because there is a rule that you can only exchange in a bank. Qin Yun took out 50 gene of sacred mysterious silver crystal and said, Can I exchange them for 50 silver crystal coins? No, I don't want sacred mysterious silver crystal. I also don't dare to act recklessly. If you want, I can give you some. Liang Yupeng said. He ran into a room and took out a small box from inside. It was filled with shiny silver crystal coins. Qin Yun is secretly startled when he saw the silver crystal coins. Because each one of them weighs 10 gene. This silver crystal coin is equivalent to 10 silver crystal coins. Liang Yupeng said again. There is indeed a 10 character carved on it. So many things, aren't they heavy? Xiao Yuanmei curled her lips and said, So troublesome. Qin Yun put them away and said, Many thanks, Captain Liang. You are welcome. I will be patrolling. You can stay here temporarily. Liang Yupeng said, Remember my words, don't act recklessly. Before Liang Yupeng left, he warned them again and again, then left feeling relieved. Xiao Yuanmei arrived beside Qin Yun and said with smile, Brother, we are from Inscription Gate. It should be very easy to refine these silver crystal coins, right? Not easy. Qin Yun shook his head and said, The refining technique is very brilliant, moreover there are special marks on them, it will be very difficult to imitate. Xiao Yuanmei said with sigh, Then won't we have to dig up sacred mysterious silver crystals to exchange for silver crystal coins? Our cultivation is very low here, it will be very difficult to go to 5-star city. Chapter 1587. Chapter 1587. War Immortal Academy. Xiao Yuanmei looked at the box of silver crystal coins, puffed up her cheeks and said, Brother, I want to go out and have some fun. This is not too good, right? We don't know much about this place. Qin Yun lightly patted her cheeks and said with smile, This is my plan. You stay here and think of a way to make a fortune. I will go outside and see if there is any way to sneak in. Xiao Yuanmei arrived behind Qin Yun, leaned on his back and said with smile, Brother, just let me go. I am not a child anymore. All right. Qin Yun can only agree. He laughed, then pinched Xiao Yuanmei's cheeks and warned, Then you must be careful. I know, there are not many people who can deal with me. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. You can take these silver crystal coins. Qin Yun said. How can I do that? Xiao Yuanmei said. Then let's split it in half. Qin Yun said. There are a total of 60 silver crystal coins in the box. Each one is worth 10, it is equivalent to 600. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuanmei each have 30. Brother, you don't need to look for me, I will go look for you. You must quickly think of a way to make a fortune in the Divine Tree City. Wait for my good news. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Qin Yun kissed her forehead and said with smile, Be careful on the way, I will wait for your good news. Xiao Yuanmei very happily skipped and ran out. She has not acted alone for a very long time. Before, she often came and went alone. Ling Yuner said with smile, Xiao Yun, don't worry about this little girl. She has mastered a very high level of swindling technique. Anyone who meets her and doesn't fall into her trap is already very lucky. Qin Yun shook his head with smile, then sat down and continued studying the silver crystal coins. Is it really impossible to make a copy? Ling Yuner asked. It is very difficult. Silver crystal coins have a unique mental wave. It is very easy to detect its authenticity. Qin Yun said. Even if I make a copy, it is meaningless because these coins need sacred Xian silver crystals to be refined. I don't have many sacred Xian silver crystals on hand. There is sacred power inside the silver crystal coins, they have been sealed. Can you undo the seal? Ling Yun'er asked. That is not a problem. Maybe I can collect a large amount of silver crystal coins and use them as sacred Xian silver crystals. Qin Yun said with smile. How can there be so many of these things in this ancient garden? Ling Yun'er is very puzzled. Logically speaking, the ancient era's garden and the immortal desolate are on the same level of space, or even inferior to the immortal desolate. Qin Yun also found it odd as he said with a frown, could it be because of that golden moon? Ling Yun said with smile. Xian silver crystal coins. If you want to go to the moon, I think you have to ask Sister Kiru. She is the moon god. Yun, Ling. Spirit Xian Moon. Tian don't worry. Shui Tian Spirit. Moon Tian Xian Yun. Xiao Yu Dan. Yu Xiao Yu, Ling Yu Yun, Long Yu Xuan Yin. Ling Yun'er chuckled and said, what you should be worried about is whether or not they will bully Sister Kiru, especially Yu Xiaoling and Yulan. They are very bad. If they want to bully Sister Kiru, especially Yu Xiaoling and Yulan, they are very bad. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Yun you also have the potential to be a female rogue. You little rogue fairy, always trying to lead me astray. I am only helping you. You truly don't know how to appreciate my good intentions. Ling Yun'er said with slight anger. Qin Yun took out a beast skin and floating cloud divine needle. He wants to test the spatial runes that Space God gave him. According to Space God, there are other spatial laws in this ancient garden. He needs to use sun space runes to activate spatial magic tools. Captain Liang and the others' weapons are all on their back. Furthermore, when they took out these silver crystal coins, they took them out from bags or boxes. It can be seen that they don't have any spatial storage magic tools. Qin Yun carved the sun space runes on the beast's skin. Ling Yun'er said with smile, if you can make a large amount of spatial storage magic tools, you will surely obtain a very high position. At that time, I will be able to fish up a fortune. Qin Yun chuckled and said, as long as I have enough wealth, searching for Sun Soul will become simple. After practicing for half a day, Qin Yun discovered that the sun space runes are rather difficult. In fact, it can also be considered a type of sun rune. There are several kinds of runes given to him by Space God. He doesn't know what they are used for, so he needs to try them out. They are all sun runes. Qin Yun sighed and said, from the looks of it, they might even be Saint Tier runes. It was not easy for him to carve the simplest kind. He let Mo come out. Mo came out to take a look and said, Big brother, these runes are indeed Saint Tier runes. No wonder it is so difficult. Qin Yun said with smile, Mo, do you think there is anything special about these runes? They are all sun runes. Mo said again, Big brother, these runes are very powerful. They should be able to release very strong spatial power. Qin Yun is secretly excited. He placed Mo back into the 9 Sun Divine Soul and told her to pay attention to Yang Yang's movement. Once Yang Yang wakes up, she will immediately inform him. He put away the beast's skin and was about to rest when he heard movement outside. He quickly walked out. Liang Yupeng returned. Brother Qin, where is your little sister? Liang Yupeng asked. She said she wanted to take a walk. Qin Yun said with smile, Are you done? That's right, it's daybreak, I can rest now. Liang Yupeng sat down and said, That group of bandits is a rather large gang. They also suffered heavy losses this time. Qin Yun asked, Captain Liang, do you have any spatial storage magic tools here? Liang Yupeng shook his head and said, We don't, only those big shots have them. In short, they are very extravagant things, small fries like us can't afford to use them. He looked at Qin Yun and asked in low voice, Brother Qin, you seem to have this kind of thing, right? As far as I know, immortal desolate storage magic tools can't be used here, but yours can be used. Truly awesome. Liang Yupeng saw Qin Yun take out the 9 Heavens Dragon Lion Cannon and Floating Cloud Rod. I do. Qin Yun nodded. Liang Yupeng did not ask how he got them. He knows that Qin Yun is very capable, and he is also the sect master of the Inscription Gate. Even in ancient gardens, the status of an Inscription Master is very high. Brother Qin, as the sect master of the Inscription Gate, your level of inscription must be very high, right? Liang Yupeng asked again. Not bad, I'm from the Inscription Profound sect. Qin Yun said. Amazing! Liang Yupeng exclaimed. Liang Yupeng was handsome and had long straight hair. He felt that he was about the same age as Qin Yun, but Qin Yun's strength was stronger than his. Furthermore, he was from the Inscription Profound sect. This immediately dealt him a heavy blow. Captain Liang, have you heard of the Sun Soul? Qin Yun asked. I've heard of it. Most of you entered the ancient gardens for the Sun Soul. Liang Yupeng said with a smile. Not only you, we are the same. We have been searching for the Sun Soul. It's been so many years and you still haven't found it? Qin Yun was somewhat alarmed. I don't know. Even if we find it, no one knows who has it. In short, we are all randomly searching. Liang Yupeng shook his head. Qin Yun stood up and walked to the window. Looking outside, he could see the towering tree in the distance. He looked at the tree and asked, Can the Sun Soul really not be found? There are many legends. Some people say that the Sun Soul has been split into pieces and is in the hands of the leaders of the various sections. Some people also say that the Sun Soul is hidden inside the Golden Moon and no one can go to the Golden Moon. Liang Yupeng poured a cup of tea and said, There are also people who say that the Sun Soul has turned into a person and no one can find him. When Qin Yun heard these legends, he was secretly amazed. Then, he returned to his seat and drank his tea. Just as they were drinking tea, someone suddenly knocked on the door. Liang Yupeng walked over to open the door. It was an old granny. Granny Liang, what's the matter? Liang Yupeng hurriedly opened the door wider and said, Please come in. Granny Liang was very tall and wore blue clothes. She said with a cold voice, I won't be going in. Our Liang family needs someone trustworthy to accompany Qin to the War Immortal Academy. Someone trustworthy? Is there a cultivation requirement? Liang Yupeng asked. No, I just want company. Are you willing to go? If you are not willing, then find someone to replace you. That's it, give me an answer tomorrow. Granny Liang finished speaking and left. Liang Yupeng closed the door and sat down with a bitter expression. He said, That girl Liang Qin actually passed the War Immortal Academy's assessment. This is too shocking. Moreover, she wants me to accompany her to the War Immortal Academy. Isn't this deliberately provoking me? I can't go. Why can't I go? Qin Yun said with a smile. Is Liang Qin your little sister? She is my cousin, 3rd layer Golden Immortal Realm, but she is stronger than me. Liang Yupeng shook his head and laughed self-deprecatingly. Those who can enter the War Immortal Academy have great potential. I tried several times but failed. Then I was blacklisted by the War Immortal Academy and they didn't let me take the test. What are the benefits of going to the War Immortal Academy? Liang Yupeng said with yearning, The benefits are great. You can have the opportunity to become a core disciple of the Divine Tree Palace. In short, the War Immortal Academy is used to select outstanding core disciples. She wants you to accompany her to give you a chance to come into contact with the War Immortal Academy. This is a good thing, Qin Yun said with a smile. I know she is doing this for my own good, but I am thin-skinned. If I go with her, I will definitely be laughed at by many people. You should know that there are many people in the War Immortal Academy who know me. They all passed the test, but I can't. I can only enter through this kind of method. I will definitely be laughed at by them. Liang Yupeng shook his head. You would rather die than suffer. Qin Yun chuckled and said, Brother Qin, if you are interested, then help me take this job. I trust you, you are my savior. Liang Yupeng said with a smile, the reward is not bad. And with your ability, you will definitely make my cousin very satisfied. Chapter 1588 1588 Chapter 1588 Queen Liang During the day, the city is very quiet. The people here rest during the day and only become lively at night. Qin Yun also returned to his room to rest. The sky darkened and the streets outside began to bustle with noise and excitement. After washing up, Qin Yun changed into a set of rough black beast skin clothes and walked out of his room. Outside, Qin Yun saw Grandma Liang and Liang Yupeng sitting in the living room. Grandma Liang, this is Brother Qin. You can call him Little Qin. Liang Yupeng said with smile. He saved my life before, he is trustworthy. I also heard that your team was almost exterminated. Luckily someone intervened. Grandma Yang's ice-cold old eyes examined Qin Yun and then nodded. Your appearance is not bad, Qin should be satisfied. Hello Grandma Liang. Qin Yun said with smile. 20 silver coins a day, how about it? Grandma Liang asked. Alright. Qin Yun feels that this is a lot, after all, it is equivalent to 20 jin of sacred mysterious silver crystals. Follow me. Grandma Liang said. War Immortal Academy is in 2-Star City, you must accompany Qin there. Qin Yun nodded and said, All right. Liang Yupeng said to Qin Yun, Brother Qin, I wish you good luck. Qin Yun followed Grandma Liang out of the building and flew towards the Liang family. He learned that Liang Yupeng's Liang family is quite powerful in this 1-Star City. Of course, it is not the case in 2-Star City. Qin Yun followed Grandma Liang and arrived at the Liang family's villa. It is located at the center of 1-Star City and occupies a large area. He followed Grandma Liang and directly flew to the Liang family and landed in a small courtyard. In the small courtyard, there is a 10-meter-long flying ship filled with all kinds of big and small boxes. At the entrance of the cabin, there is a cold woman wearing a red dress with a long braid. The woman crossed her arms in front of her chest. Her cold and beautiful face is filled with hidden bitterness. She said in low voice, That brat Liang Yupeng actually refused to go with me. I gave him a chance to sneak into the War Immortal Academy, but he didn't appreciate it. He is thin-skinned. Grandma Liang said. Qin Yun also saw Liang Qin, she is a very good beautiful woman. Liang Qin looked at Qin Yun and sighed gently. She said, Granny Liang, give him some silver crystal coins and let him go. If that bastard Liang Yupeng doesn't come, it's meaningless. Qin he's Liang Yupeng's friend. His strength is not bad. You can bring a helper to the War Immortal Academy, and it will be more convenient for him to help you deal with all kinds of things. Moreover, you will only give him 20 silver coins a day. Grandma Liang said. Alright. Liang Qin sighed lightly, then smiled at Qin Yun and said, Dear brother, seeing that you are not bad-looking, I will bring you to the War Immortal Academy. Quickly board the ship. Just call me Shao Qin. Qin Yun said with smile and walked up. Little Qin, call me Queen Liang. Liang Qin said. Yes, Queen Liang. Qin Yun nodded and walked into the cabin. There was a small hall in the cabin. The small hall was filled with things, all of which were Liang Qin's bags of various sizes. Let's set sail. Liang Qin controlled the boat to float slowly. This boat is loaded with a lot of things, so it is very heavy and its speed is relatively slow. Liang Qin controlled the flying boat to fly to 2-Star City, then sat down and crossed her legs. She sat opposite Qin Yun, looked at Qin Yun's eyes and said with smile, Little Qin, have you seen many beauties before? And Qin Yun nodded. No wonder when you looked at me, it was as if you were looking at an ordinary person. Liang Qin said with slight anger, You have seen many beauties, don't you think I am very ordinary? Queen Liang, you are very beautiful, Qin Yun said with smile. How beautiful? Among the beauties you have seen, what level are you? Liang Qin is very interested. She squinted her eyes and smiled charmingly. First rate, Qin Yun said with smile. You are the same as the beauties I have seen, you are all first rate. After Liang Qin heard this, she very happily and tenderly laughed. Then she took out 2 silver coins and handed them to Qin Yun. She said with smile, This is for you. Thank you. Qin Yun took it and said, Little Qin, you are only at the first level of the Golden Immortal stage. If you follow me to the War Immortal Academy, you will learn a lot. Don't worry, even if you follow me in, I guarantee that no one will bully you. If anyone dares to bully my, Queen Liang's, people, I will definitely take care of them. Liang Qin suddenly said very boldly. This seemingly gentle, charming and somewhat cold and arrogant woman is actually so forthright, causing Qin Yun to admire her very much. Qin Yun also understood a bit about Two-Star City. Two-Star City is not as chaotic as One-Star City. You can't fly in the sky. Moreover, there are city walls but there is no city protection formation. There are only people patrolling in the sky. In the city, there are some powerful people who can be quite tyrannical and do whatever they want. This mainly depends on strength. After half a day, Liang Qin's boat arrived outside the city. She complained, This Two-Star City is also a broken city. Why can't we fly? We can only crawl on the ground, it's so slow. Liang Qin sat in the cabin and controlled her wooden boat to slowly pass through the city gate. She even paid 50 silver coins as entrance fee. Queen Liang, what are the chests on the boat? Qin Yun is somewhat curious because there are many chests piled up on the deck outside. They are all silver crystal coins, entrance fee of War Immortal Academy. Liang Qin leaned back on the chair, her long legs placed on the table. She curled her lips and said, War Immortal Academy is so shady, it costs 20,000 silver crystal coins a year. Qin Yun is dumbfounded. 20,000 silver crystal coins is 20,000 genes of sacred mysterious silver crystals. It was not easy for him to squeeze out several thousand genes from the hands of the big powers in the Immortal Desolate. But in the Immortal Desolate, it is completely worthless. Qin Yun suddenly felt that this ancient garden must have very strong sacred power, otherwise it would be impossible for there to be so many sacred mysterious silver crystals. Xiao Qin, how can you see so many beauties? Tell elder sister honestly, did you become their boy toy? Liang Qin suddenly laughed mischievously and said, You look very honest, your eyes are not randomly glancing at other people's bodies, your eyes are very clear, and you look very good. There are not many good-looking honest people like you. It makes people suspect that you were trained. Qin Yun shook his head and laughed. He only felt that he has fallen into the hands of a female rogue. I am just lucky, Qin Yun said with smile. Aren't I just lucky to meet a beauty like Queen Liang? That's right, you brat, your mouth is quite sweet. Liang Qin giggled and said, I really want to take you in as a boy toy, ha ha ha. Qin Yun speechlessly laughed. This Queen Liang is truly very open. Liang Qin is now wholeheartedly controlling her ship to fly towards War Immortal Academy. Advancing in the city is very slow because it is very crowded. Now there are many large and small ships traveling on the main road. Many people are complaining that they can't fly and they have to carry a lot of things. Qin Yun observed for a while and realized that it is not that they can't fly above the Two-Star City, they need a flight order. That is a very expensive thing, it requires a lot of silver crystal coins to buy. This is one of the methods to earn silver crystal coins in Two-Star City. Along the way, because of the congestion, Liang Qin cursed non-stop. They spent an entire day to reach War Immortal Academy's gate. What made her most angry is that they still can't enter War Immortal Academy. Fortunately, War Immortal Academy's gate is the place to pay fees. Liang Qin was able to hand over the silver crystal coins in the chest. And that ship can only be docked in one place. Moreover, you have to pay the docking fee and so on. If you randomly park here, you will be punished. If you don't accept the punishment, your ship will be detained. Liang Qin has many large and small bags, all of them are her clothes. Qin Yun is now helping her carry a lot of clothes. He didn't reveal his storage magic tool because he is worried that he will be targeted and cause a lot of trouble. Before entering the city, Liang Qin's mood was extremely good. But not long after entering the city, she started cursing non-stop. Liang Qin brought Qin Yun and followed the receptionist to her residence. It is a 3-story small building. After entering, she became even angrier. Because this small building is very dirty, very messy, and also very dilapidated. This old lady is so angry. What kind of bullshit war Immortal Academy is this? It is really tormenting people. How can a student's residence be such a dilapidated place? Liang Qin stomped her feet in anger. She really wanted to smash this small building with a palm strike. Queen Liang, let me tidy up. You rest at the side. Qin Yun said. Let's do it together. Liang Qin took a few deep breaths and said, Little Qin, you are so good. Big sister will not treat you unfairly. Liang Qin is not used to doing this kind of work. She tidied up and cursed at the same time. Qin Yun can only persuade Liang Qin to go out and walk around, leaving everything to him. After Liang Qin left, Qin Yun took out the puppet and quickly tidied up. Then he took out many pieces of furniture and placed them in the small hall on the first floor. Although it took half a day, it made the small building look brand new. Ling Yuner said, Little Yun, this War Immortal Academy is very special. There is a branch of a divine tree facing us. And I saw it too. On the road, Qin Yun carefully observed and discovered that the huge divine tree not far away has a very large branch extending towards this direction. If it is at night, that branch might shine, maybe it will illuminate the entire War Immortal Academy. Ling Yuner said. The War Immortal Academy occupies a very large area, tens of thousands of mu in size. There are many empty areas, it is unknown what those areas are used for. It's almost night, we'll know when we take a look. After Qin Yun arrived at 2-Star City, he got even closer to the huge divine tree. He can feel a very strange energy fluctuation. Liang Qin returned. She entered the small hall and let out a soft cry. Her gorgeous face is filled with pleasant surprise. Little Qin, you are really good. You made this place so clean, even the tables and chairs have been changed. Liang Qin said with a smile. Liang Yupeng actually has a good friend like you and he even introduced you to me. At least this little demon didn't cheat this cousin of his. Qin Yun said with a smile. Queen Liang, you are also tired. Hurry up and go rest. I'm not going to rest. It's going to be dark soon, I want to take a stroll around. Liang Qin said with a smile. But you, hurry up and go rest. Just as Qin Yun was about to return to his room to rest, a few people suddenly came in. With a glance, it is obvious that they are young people who just entered the War Immortal Academy. The expression on Liang Qin's pretty face changed instantly. Only now did she realize that she is not the only one living in this small building, there are other people living in it. Chapter 1589. Magic Needle Assist. When Liang Qin heard such arrogant words, she immediately couldn't hold it in and shouted angrily, F***ck off. We were the ones who cleaned up this place, so we should be the ones to choose first. The tall young man cast a few glances at Liang Qin and sneered. Where did this fierce bitch come from? Is there any place for you to speak here? Since you've followed your master here, you should behave yourself. Your master hasn't even said anything, so why are you yelling? Liang Qin and Qin Yun were taken aback. So the tall youth had mistaken Liang Qin for a maidservant. Qin Yun never expected that the War Immortal Academy would arrange for male and female students to live together. You're courting death. Liang Qin abruptly pulled out a long saber from her waist and shouted, I passed the assessment and paid the tuition fees to get in. What are you talking about? The tall young man laughed and said, So that's how it is. Then go back and have a baby. What are you doing here? Did you see that? Everyone here is men. You're the only woman. How dare you choose a room? Who do you think you are? Women like you are meant to be played with. If you continue to stay here, do you want us to play with you? I'll chop you into pieces, you bastard. The furious Liang Qin charged forward. However, a middle-aged man suddenly walked in and quickly snatched the saber from Liang Qin's hand. The middle-aged man heard Liang Qin's cursing just now, so he hurried over. What's going on? The middle-aged man shouted coldly. Other than Qin Yun and Liang Qin, there were 3 other well-dressed young men. They were probably going to stay in this small building, and each of them brought a follower with them. That middle-aged man's cultivation was extremely high. He was at the 5th stage of the Golden Celestial stage. He was wearing the white soft armor of the Warring Immortal Academy. One look was enough to tell that he was from the Warring Immortal Academy. Liang Qin gritted her teeth and shouted, That guy was rude first, and we were responsible for cleaning this building, but he actually wants to choose a room first. Also, what's up with your War Immortal Academy? I'm obviously a woman, why did you arrange for me to live with these men? The tall young man immediately said respectfully to the middle-aged man, Big brother, I'm from the Ma family of 3-Star City. My name is Ma Dating. My grandfather is Ma Laifu. Ma Laifu? The head of the Ma family? So it's the young elites of the Ma family. The middle-aged man smiled and said, Since you are a disciple of the Ma family, you can choose your room first. Ma Dating smiled proudly at Qin Yun and Liang Qin and said, They said that they were the ones who cleaned this place. They refused and even wanted to kill me. What should I do? War Immortal Academy doesn't allow private fights. That woman was going to chop me with a knife just now. The middle-aged man looked at Liang Qin and said sternly, Since you're a new student, I won't argue with you. I'm confiscating this saber. You? Return the blade to me, that's a king-grade immortal blade. Liang Qin shouted angrily. She was so angry that her blood was boiling and her eyes were filled with sharp killing intent. Qin Yun suddenly said, Just now these people wanted to humiliate this young lady, so she had no choice but to take action. The War Immortal Academy is actually protecting such scum students? You bastard, what did you say? Ma Dating said angrily, Don't slander me. Qin Yun said to Liang Qin, Sister Qin, let's go. If you continue to stay here, sooner or later your body will be defiled. Liang Qin immediately understood Qin Yun's meaning and said angrily, That's right, we will leave now. I want to spread this matter. I want all 5 divine tree cities to know about this. My Liang family still has some power in 1-Star City, just you wait and see. Wait. The middle-aged man is a bit afraid. The War Immortal Academy is very strict. If this matter really becomes big, he will definitely have to bear the responsibility. He promptly returned the saber to Liang Qin and said, I'll return this saber to you. This matter is settled. None of you are allowed to cause trouble in the future. Liang Qin took back her saber, but she still looked at Ma Dating fiercely and said, Why did you arrange for men and women to live together? If you want to live well, you have to pay more silver crystal coins. The middle-aged man said in low voice, You don't have extra silver crystal coins to pay, so you can only live in our standard accommodation. How much extra silver crystal coins do we have to pay? Liang Qin asked. 5,000 per month. The middle-aged man said. Ma Dating, you come from 3-Star City's Ma family, you can't even afford this bit of accommodation? You actually want to squeeze into this kind of broken-down place with a poor person like me? Liang Qin ridiculed in her heart. She is also cursing the War Immortal Academy in her heart. They are actually so black-hearted, asking for 5,000 per month. I like to live in this kind of place, so what? Ma Ting said angrily. Liang Qin looked at the other youngsters and said, looking at your clothes, you should be from big aristocratic families. You actually live in this kind of broken-down house. How is this place broken down? Ma Ting shouted. Don't talk nonsense, second floor is mine, downstairs is yours. The middle-aged man also felt a headache and said, you guys properly discuss the distribution, I'll leave first. After the middle-aged man slipped away, Ma Ting became even more arrogant. He and the other youngsters surrounded Qin Yun and Liang Qin. There are only 2 rooms on the first floor. Qin Yun said. You can put up a shed in the courtyard. Ma Ting laughed loudly and said, you lowly people from 1-star city, why don't you take a look at our status? I am from 3-star city, they are all from 2-star city. What confidence do you have to challenge us? A youngster said with sneer. The person this woman brought is actually a man, moreover he is so handsome, most likely he is her little boy toy. Ma Ting laughed nastily and said, this guy is indeed very handsome, it makes me very jealous, I really want to smash his face. Big brother Ma, this guy just slandered us, saying that we want to rape this woman. His mouth is really cheap. Indeed, this kind of guy might even speak ill of us in the future, let's smash his face. Immediately, killing intent spread out. Ma Ting laughed sinisterly and said, this guy is just a follower, if we injure a follower, War Immortal Academy won't pursue this matter. War Immortal Academy only forbids private fights between students. They didn't say that we can't beat this kind of servant. They immediately took out their weapons. Those youngsters' movements are very fast. They immediately rushed to the door and closed it. Then they surrounded Liang Qin. Liang Qin clenched her saber tightly. Seeing those youngsters' eyes filled with lust, she couldn't help but be horrified. Didn't that kid say we want to rape her? If that's the case, then we ha. A youngster laughed lewdly and said, this woman is really not bad. Ma Ting and those 3 youngsters are all in the 3rd level of the Golden Celestial Stage, their followers are all in the 2nd level of the Golden Celestial Stage, and Liang Qin is only in the 3rd level of the Golden Celestial Stage. Although Qin Yun is a Golden Celestial, in her eyes, a 1st-level Golden Celestial Stage is basically useless. Now she is surrounded by several 3rd-level Golden Celestials. There are also a few 2nd-level Golden Celestials. Moreover, they are all from 2-star city and 3-star city. This suddenly made her very nervous. She is most worried about Qin Yun because Qin Yun will have to face Ma Ting. Ma Ting, this is War Immortal Academy. What are you doing? Liang Qin said angrily. War Immortal Academy didn't say that we are not allowed to teach servants a lesson. Ma Ting said with a smile. As for you, when the time comes, we will say that you are a slut, you willingly gave yourself to me, ha ha ha. After saying that, Ma Ting put his hand on Qin Yun's head and said, Kid, you obediently crawl under my crotch, then beg me to spare your life, I promise to spare your dog life. Qin Yun stood perfectly straight, not saying a word. His calm eyes suddenly became as sharp as a knife. He looked at Ma Ting with a faint anger. Kid, I told you to crawl under my crotch, didn't you hear me? Ma Ting shouted in a deep voice, increased his strength. He wanted to press Qin Yun's head down. Qin Yun's 2 fingers are holding a long needle. It is the floating cloud divine needle. When Ma Ting pressed his head down, he suddenly stabbed the long needle, piercing Ma Ting's heart, directly penetrating his body. At the same time, the exploding heaven finger power condensed in his 2 fingers also exploded in Ma Ting's body, making a muffled sound. Boom! Ma Ting's body suddenly exploded. The charred pieces of his body that were burned by the fire immortal power splattered all around the small hall. Qin Yun killed Ma Ting. The group of people surrounding Liang Qin did not react at all. When they saw Ma Ting's upper body explode into pieces, their minds immediately went blank, their hearts filled with incomparable fear. Liang Qin is also dumbstruck. This sudden impact made her feel as if her heart is about to stop. They knew that Ma Ting came from the three-star city's Ma family. He was definitely very strong. But now he was instantly killed. This made them immediately feel that Qin Yun's strength is extremely terrifying. In addition, if Qin Yun dared to kill Ma Ting, then he definitely dared to kill them. "Run!" a youth shouted. Just as they were about to run, Qin Yun released a supergravity. The supergravity enveloped those few people, causing them to feel as heavy as a mountain. Their movements became sluggish, and it was difficult for them to even move. Liang Qin was not pressed down by the supergravity. After she reacted, she tightly gripped the saber in her hand, gritted her teeth and swept out. Swish! The saber slashed horizontally in a circle. The 7 youths surrounding Liang Qin were all cut in half at the waist by the sharp saber. Blood containing the power of a golden immortal lingered around with a faint golden light, violently splashing everywhere. Qin Yun suddenly took out the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron and used his formidable mental power to lock onto all the fragments around him. Then, he quickly controlled them to fly into the cauldron. With a whoosh, the cauldron ignited with a fierce flame, burning those fragments. Qin Yun stored the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron and took out 2 talismans to absorb all the remaining energy fluctuations and quickly removed all the bloodstains. Liang Qin is now gasping for breath. She tightly gripped her saber and leaned against the back of the door, then sat paralyzed on the ground. Although she is usually very fierce, she has now killed people in the War Immortal Academy. Moreover, she killed many people, including people from the Ma family. She opened her eyes wide as she watched Qin Yun quickly clean up the scene. She is even more astonished in her heart. She knew that Qin Yun saved Liang Yupeng, but she felt that it was the kind of thing that happened when he was passing by. And now, Liang Qin knows that Qin Yun is very strong. He spent a lot of effort to save Liang Yupeng. What made her apprehensive is that, after Qin Yun killed people and destroyed the corpses, he is also very familiar with the road. He is incomparably professional. "Queen Liang, it's fine. Just act as if nothing happened. From now on, this small building will be ours to live in," Qin Yun said with a mischievous smile. "Little Qin, you are still laughing, let's hurry up and run." Liang Qin hastily jumped over and pulled Qin Yun. She rushed to the door and after opening it, she saw the middle-aged man from before standing outside. Chapter 1590. Divide the harvest equally. Because Liang Qin had killed many people, she was already very flustered. When she opened the door and saw the middle-aged man, she screamed as if she had seen a ghost. The middle-aged man frowned. "Do I look that scary?" Liang Qin was nervous and flustered. She was worried that the middle-aged man would know that she and Qin Yun had killed Ma Ting and company. One had to know that Ma Ting came from a 3-star city, and the others came from a 2-star city. All of them had solid backgrounds. If they knew that Liang Qin was the culprit, then the Liang clan might suffer as well, or they might have to pay a huge price to settle this matter. When Qin Yun saw how terrified Liang Qin was, he secretly despised her. With Liang Qin's state of mind, she actually had the nerve to call herself a queen. "Uncle, your sudden appearance is indeed very frightening." Qin Yun walked over with a smile, and stood in front of Liang Qin. He said to the middle-aged man with a smile, "Uncle, you came at the right time. We have something to ask you." The middle-aged man asked, "What is it?" Qin Yun said, "Ma Ting and the others said they wanted to visit a brothel or something. Does this count as violating the rules of the War Immortal Academy?" The middle-aged man was startled for a moment before he smiled and said, "Of course not, this is their freedom. So that's how it is. No wonder they asked you to come with them. Didn't they invite you? Qin Yun asked. They are too outrageous. They didn't even ask you to go with them, they actually bragged to us. What? They asked me to go. I'm a dutiful person. I won't go. The middle-aged man laughed and said, I heard some movement here, so I came over to take a look. Qin Yun said with smile. It's nothing, it's just that this big sister has a bad temper, she is smashing things. The middle-aged man walked in and saw the broken furniture. Qin Yun said again, those furniture are ours, Ma De Ting and the others wanted to occupy them, so big sister destroyed them. You youngsters are full of youthful vigor. You'll get used to it in the future. The middle-aged man said, you guys rest well for 2 days. The students are about to start their training. They are very tired. Got it. Liang Qin calmed down and said. The middle-aged man left to look around the other buildings, asking the students if they needed any help or advice. Qin Yun sent the middle-aged man outside. After returning, he saw 4 large carriages in the courtyard. They belonged to Ma De Ting and the others. He suddenly realized that Ma De Ting and the others did not have any storage magic treasures, so the things they brought with them must be in the 4 carriages. Qin Yun was in no hurry to plunder. Instead, he calmly closed the yard's door and entered the building. As soon as he entered, he saw Liang Qinxiang sitting weakly on a chair, drenched in sweat. She kept panting, and her towering chest heaved up and down. After Qin Yun closed the door, he said with a grin, Queen Liang, you don't look like a queen at all. Little Qin, we've killed someone. Moreover, the people we killed are all descendants of aristocratic families. If we are discovered, we will definitely be finished, Liang Qin said with a face full of worry. That uncle just came in and looked. He didn't find anything. Qin Yun said with smile. Don't worry, as long as you don't admit it even if you die. Besides, that uncle just admitted that Ma De Ting asked him to go to a brothel. Liang Qin pointed at Qin Yun, speechless. After a long while, she calmed down and said lightly, the human heart is truly sinister. You look like an honest person, but I didn't expect you to be such a ruthless person. I really misjudged you before. I thought you were someone else's boy toy or something. Queen Liang, there are still 4 carriages outside. I'll bring them in later and we'll split them evenly, Qin Yun said with a smile. Little Qin, do you have a storage magic treasure? Liang Qin also recalled that Qin Yun had suddenly conjured a very large cauldron. And you have to help me keep this a secret. I don't want anyone to covet this thing. Qin Yun nodded. What exactly is your background? You actually have a storage magic treasure and you're also very strong. You're willing to be my follower. Do you have some ulterior motives? Liang Qin muttered. You can't be plotting against me, right? Queen Liang, do you think I'm that kind of person? Qin Yun laughed involuntarily. You weren't before, but now you are. Liang Qin lightly groaned and said, You are too scheming, I'm afraid. Don't worry, I won't harm you, Qin Yun said with smile. I just don't have a place to go for the time being, so Captain Liang recommended me to accompany you to War Immortal Academy and understand the situation here. Liang Qin bit her lips and said worriedly, Little Qin, let's go. I'm worried that we'll be found out that we killed someone. Qin Yun said, Nothing will happen. You stay here, think of a way to become stronger and then become a core disciple of Divine Tree Palace. As for me, I'll go out now and see what kind of good things those guys have. After speaking, he opened the door and went out. Then he began moving boxes into the hall. Not long after, the hall was filled with many large boxes. After Qin Yun closed the door, he said with smile, They've all been moved in, let's see what's inside. There are 4 weapons, all long swords, all king-grade immortal tools. And inside the boxes there are actually silver crystal coins. That's a lot, about 40,000. Liang Qin opened the boxes and estimated, then exclaimed in admiration. As expected of children of aristocratic families, after paying tuition fees, Each person still has more than 10,000 crystal coins. We'll split it evenly, 20,000 each, Qin Yun said. Then he chose half of the boxes and stored them in his 9 Sun Divine Soul. Little Qin, then help me store them. It's safer to keep them with you, no one will find out. Liang Qin looked at Qin Yun with envy and said in low voice, Storage magic tool is really good, it can store so many things so casually. Qin Yun said with smile, I'll think of a way to get one for you in the future. Liang Qin's small mouth slightly opened, she said in astonishment, Can you get one? Little Qin, why do you want to help me get one? Do you have some kind of purpose? I know you don't want to sleep with me, then why? Nothing, don't you want one? I just want to give it to you. Qin Yun shook his head with smile and said, All right, I just saw that you are very good-looking, so I want to treat you a bit better. Who told you to be so good-looking? This reason is so sweet. Then I'll reluctantly accept it. Liang Qin smiled sweetly. Qin Yun took out 4 command tokens and said, I found these from those 4 large carriages, what are they? They control the large ships. Each of those large ships is worth 10 to 20,000. Liang Qin said. Very good, I remember that they all stopped at the same place, right? I'll go get them, then I'll think of a way to sell them, and then we'll split them. Qin Yun said with smile. All right. Liang Qin was originally very afraid, but since it has already happened and she can still make a big profit, she felt a lot more at ease. Moreover, she is also a bit happy. Qin Yun became even more excited in his heart because he has obtained a large amount of sacred Xian silver crystals in a short while. When sacred Xian silver crystals are used together with sacred tools, they can erupt with very strong power. Because he had very few sacred Xian silver crystals before, he was not willing to use them. It seems like there are more sacred Xian silver crystals than instant space immortal iron in this ancient garden. Qin Yun is even more curious as to why this ancient garden can produce so many sacred Xian silver crystals. Liang Qin said in low voice, Shao Qin, don't call me Queen Liang from now on. I'm too weak, I don't dare to act in front of you. You can just call me Sister Qin. Qin Yun held the 4 command tokens and said with smile, Sister Qin, if I can get those 4 ships, where should I go? I'm not familiar with 2-Star City. Shao Qin, don't take action in 2-Star City. Those guys are originally from 2-Star City and 3-Star City. If you take action locally, it will be very easy to find out. Liang Qin is quite knowledgeable about this, after all, it is common sense. How about we find Captain Liang and ask him to take action? Qin Yun said with chuckle, You know how to contact him, right? I know. Liang Qin nodded and said, I'll ask someone to send him a letter and ask him to come over. All right, then I'll go out for a bit and store the ships. Qin Yun said. Your storage magic tool can store 4 ships. Liang Qin is startled again. She thought that the space inside Qin Yun's storage magic tool is not very big. Of course I can. Qin Yun said with a smile. His 9 Sun Divine Spirits 5th Pearl only has a pill transformation heavenly furnace. There is still a lot of space inside. Then I'll go with you. Liang Qin doesn't dare to stay here alone. She is worried that someone will come looking for her, and she won't be able to handle it. Qin Yun and Liang Qin walked out of the small building and headed towards the place where the ships were parked outside the War Immortal Academy. Through the token, they found the 4 ships, and when no one was paying attention, they secretly stored them inside the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. Liang Qin said to Qin Yun, Shao Qin, you should also load my ship. Parking here requires a fee. It costs quite a lot of silver crystal coins every day. All right. Qin Yun nodded and followed Liang Qin to look for her ship. Liang Qin led Qin Yun to the underground plaza where the ships were parked and found her ship. Qin Yun stored Liang Qin's ship into his 9 Sun Divine Spirit. Their ships are much better than yours. How much can they sell for? Qin Yun asked. They are all illegal goods. Even if they are valuable, they will have to be sold at half price. Liang Qin is also secretly envious of those beautiful large ships. They are much better than her broken ship. Qin Yun said with smile. Once we sell them, we will have more silver crystal coins. Shao Qin, you are so awesome, how come you are also so poor? Liang Qin and Qin Yun are walking on the road. She somewhat doubtfully said, Could it be that you are not someone from the ancient era's garden? And I am an outsider. Qin Yun nodded and said, So that's how it is. Liang Qin also knows that a passage has been opened recently and many people from Immortal Desolate have come in. Outside, sacred Xian silver crystals are very rare. Qin Yun said. Then why do you need so many sacred Xian silver crystals? These things are not very useful to us. Liang Qin asked. You think it's useless? Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled. There is Saint Force inside, but we are unable to refine that Saint Force. We need Saint Tier cultivation techniques to be able to refine Saint Force. Liang Qin curled her lips and said, Saint Tier cultivation techniques can only be learned by the core disciples of the 3 palaces and 6 sects. Qin Yun immediately understood. Cultivation methods to cultivate saint power are tightly controlled by the major powers. Chapter 1591. Refining Immortal Martial Spirit. Qin Yun doesn't know how he can sneak into the core of Divine Tree Palace. He is only following Liang Qin to War Immortal Academy. He is not an official student. But Liang Qin is different. She entered through assessment. If her performance is excellent and outstanding, she will definitely be selected as a core. He felt that he might be able to sneak in with Liang Qin. It is hard to say whether Xiao Yueme will succeed or not. He has to make 2 preparations. If Xiao Yueme doesn't succeed, he will have another way. Xiao Yun, the students of War Immortal Academy are definitely not much different, because they can't absorb saint power. There is such a large amount of saint power inside the mysterious Saint Silver Crystal, but they don't know how to use it. This is too wasteful. Ling Yun'er said. Ling Yun'er knows what Qin Yun is thinking and said again, You guide Liang Qin to absorb saint power and make her stronger. This way, she can quickly become a core. Alright. Qin Yun also planned to do so. Liang Qin sent someone to contact Liang Yupeng and then returned to War Immortal Academy with Qin Yun. It's dark. Night is the most lively time. Liang Qin originally planned to go out and have fun at night, but because she and Qin Yun killed Ma Deting's group, she felt very nervous and didn't dare to run around. She sat alone on the bed in her room, fidgeting and pacing back and forth. Liang Qin hesitated for a moment, then walked out of her room and knocked on Qin Yun's door. After Qin Yun opened the door, he said with smile, Sister Qin, I was just about to go find you. Liang Qin's long hair draped over her shoulders, she is wearing loose white clothes and white shorts, revealing a pair of crystal-clear slender jade legs. Xiao Qin, I'm scared. Liang Qin promptly entered Qin Yun's room and sat on his bed. She lowered her head and swung her long legs. Qin Yun walked over and sat beside her. He said with smile, What are you afraid of? When I saw you, I thought you were a queen who was not afraid of heaven or earth. Who knew that you would be so decisive. You didn't even say hello and beat up that damned Ma Deting. Liang Qin puffed up her face and said with hidden bitterness, Xiao Qin, I don't blame you. I blame myself for being too afraid. I have never experienced this kind of thing before. Qin Yun laughed and said, I only killed Ma Deting. How about you, Queen Liang? He killed 7 guys with 1 slash. You're still talking, you're still talking. Liang Qin gently hammered Qin Yun's shoulders with her jade-like fists and said coquettishly, I was in a moment of desperation, so I killed them all. At that time, Liang Qin's mind was in a mess, and she really killed those people in a panic. That's why you have the potential to be a queen. You are decisive in killing. If it were any other delicate flower vase, they would have been crying for their parents in that situation. Qin Yun didn't know what was wrong with him, but he unconsciously patted Liang Qin's beautiful jade legs. After he was done, he smiled awkwardly and said, "Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I couldn't help it." Liang Qin chuckled and said, "Little Qin, it seems like you still like to touch thighs. Do my legs look nice?" "Of course it is," Qin Yun said with smile. He secretly cursed Xian Rujing for leading him astray. Liang Qin also touched her legs and sighed. "Sigh, I want to be a queen. But today, my true colors were revealed in front of Ma Ting and the others. I am truly lacking." "You are not lacking, you have this foundation," Qin Yun said with smile. "You are not afraid when facing them, you even directly scolded them. If I was a bit more afraid, I would not have clashed with them." Liang Qin sighed again. "Sister Qin, do you want to become stronger?" Qin Yun suddenly said with stern expression. "Of course I want to." "Little Qin, don't tell me you have some method?" Liang Qin saw Qin Yun is so serious and also became serious. Qin Yun nodded. Liang Qin thought of something. She lowered her head and said, "Don't tell me that you want me to devote myself to you to make me stronger? Or do you want to cultivate some shameful cultivation technique with me?" Qin Yun rolled his eyes and said with smile, "What are you talking about? Even if you want to. I am willing. Who told you to be so handsome?" Liang Qin giggled and said, then touched Qin Yun's face. Qin Yun shook his head and said with smile, "Sister Qin, I can let you absorb saint power to cultivate. But I am not too sure about the specific situation. Later, you will need to comprehend it yourself." "Really?" Liang Qin abruptly stood up and said excitedly. She did not doubt Qin Yun's words at all because she knew that Qin Yun has true ability. Qin Yun said, "My method is to carve a Saint Tier totem on your immortal martial spirit." Ever since he became an immortal, he rarely refined his soul. He did not carve runes or totems on his immortal martial spirit because the people in the immortal desolate protected their immortal martial spirit very well. It was not easy to obtain them. Normally, no one would expose their immortal martial spirit. Because of some reason, no one talked about it. The main reason was that they were afraid that if others found out, they would be destroyed. When Liang Qin heard Qin Yun mention immortal martial spirit, her expression became grave. She quietly sat down and swung her legs. She is seriously considering whether or not she should let Qin Yun torment her immortal martial spirit. Qin Yun did not have much research on immortal martial spirit. It could even be said that he did not understand them at all. His own cultivation situation is rather special. There is no such thing as an immortal martial spirit. "Sister Qin, is it not possible?" Qin Yun asked. "It's not that. My immortal martial spirit is very, very important. Once it is injured, it will affect my soul. If it is serious, it will cause my soul to scatter." Liang Qin said in low voice. "Little Qin, it's not that I don't believe you, but it's too risky. I have to think about it carefully. As long as an immortal soul is not destroyed, there is a way to be reborn. Immortal martial spirit and soul are extremely close. Once the immortal martial spirit is destroyed, the soul would most likely die, causing it to be unable to reconstruct the body." Qin Yun nodded. He can understand. Liang Qin quietly thought for more than an hour and suddenly said, "Come, I am willing to torment my immortal martial spirit for you." "How can it be tormented?" Qin Yun cannot help but laugh. "I have never heard of anyone carving runes on an immortal martial spirit." Liang Qin said with a frown, "Little Qin, are you really confident that you can succeed?" "Of course I'm confident," Qin Yun said. Liang Qin also knows that once she can absorb sacred power, she will become very strong. Maybe she will be able to achieve her queen's dream. Liang Qin closed her eyes. She slightly pulled open the loose collar of her upper body, revealing the location of her heart. A faint fragrance also faintly wafted out. A ball of flame slowly surged out from her chest along with the heartbeat. Qin Yun sensed earlier that the immortal power within Liang Qin's body is fire attribute. Immortal martial spirit and martial spirit are different. When it comes to martial spirit, you can distinguish the rank by color. But immortal martial spirit is not, you cannot determine the rank by color. Qin Yun said in his heart. Liang Qin opened her eyes and looked at her immortal martial spirit. She said softly, "Little Qin, can you begin?" Qin Yun nodded and said, "Relax as much as possible, don't have any conflicting thoughts, nothing will happen." He took out the floating cloud divine needle, released blood spirit power, used soul refining technique and began carving sacred fire totem. If a formation made of sacred fire totem absorbs sacred mysterious silver crystal, it can release a very strong sacred fire. Qin Yun had previously planned to use the sacred fire totem to set up a large formation on the divine inscription mountain. It would be convenient for him to release sacred fire to refine things. Qin Yun has wild fire inscription spirit and totem inscription spirit, so carving sacred fire totem is very easy for him. Moreover, he used the mysterious fusion heavenly rune inside the Gemini treasure mirror to release fusion power. The sacred fire totem can very easily fuse with Liang Qin's immortal martial spirit. Immortal martial spirit is very strong. This is the first time Qin Yun has come into contact with an immortal martial spirit like this. It is very mystical. It looks like a ball of flame, but when touched, it is like gently caressing a soft object. Because this is related to the safety of the immortal martial spirit, Qin Yun's progress is very slow. It took him several hours to finish carving the sacred fire totem. If he was carving the sacred fire totem on beast skin, he would be able to complete it in a short period of time. Sacred fire totem and immortal martial spirit fused perfectly, it is as if Liang Qin was born with it. Liang Qin doesn't know that soul-refining inscription masters are heaven-defying existences, so she doesn't know what Qin Yun is doing. She only trusts Qin Yun and is willing to let him toss and turn. "It's done." Qin Yun laughed and said, "You can take it back." Liang Qin took off her clothes and let the immortal martial spirit return to her body through her heart. "Shao Qin, what's next? How can I absorb the sacred power inside the sacred Xian silver crystal?" Liang Qin doesn't feel anything different. Qin Yun took out a small piece of sacred Xian silver crystal. It is not the silver crystal coins sealed with sacred power. Liang Qin took the sacred Xian silver crystal. "Grab the sacred Xian silver crystal and follow my mnemonic chant." Qin Yun began chanting the mnemonic chant and guided Liang Qin to absorb the sacred power inside the sacred Xian silver crystal. Not long after, Liang Qin became wild with joy and excitement. I absorbed sacred power, it is very helpful to me, it can make me even stronger. And Qin Yun said with smile, "You must remember the mnemonic chant I just read to you. Also, don't tell anyone about this. If someone discovers the runes of your immortal martial spirit, you must say that it is innate, understand?" Liang Qin very happily nodded, then hugged Qin Yun and said with smile, "Thank you Shao Qin, I will go back to cultivate." "Alright," Qin Yun said with smile. Liang Qin's perception is not bad, she can quickly understand the difficulty of cultivating sacred power. Next she will have to participate in the new student training, she will be gone for several days. Liang Yupeng arrived. He is waiting for Qin Yun at the entrance of War Immortal Academy. Qin Yun walked out of War Immortal Academy. On the road, he found out that people are asking about the whereabouts of Ma Ting and others. Now there is a rumor that Ma Ting invited a middle-aged man from War Immortal Academy to visit a brothel. That middle-aged man did not go, Ma Ting and others went and then disappeared. Therefore, now Ma family and other aristocratic families are going to various brothel to look for people. Qin Yun arrived at the entrance of War Immortal Academy and said with smile, "Hello, Captain Liang. Shao Qin, are you getting along well with that queen?" Liang Yuping asked. "Not bad. I need your help with a small matter," Qin Yun said. Chapter 1592. Delving into space. Liang Yuping received Liang Qin's letter. It said that Qin Yun had something to discuss, but it did not specify what it was. Liang Yuping was more familiar with Two-Star City. He brought Qin Yun into the city and arrived at an ordinary-looking restaurant. The restaurant looked ordinary, but the food and wine were pretty good. Qin Yun ate with relish. "Little Qin, what do you want to talk to me about?" Liang Yuping asked. "I have a boat in my hand, I want to make a move." Qin Yun smiled and said, "The boat I obtained is not too righteous, so I have to find a place to leave. It's best if it's safe, so I won't be found out." Liang Yuping immediately understood. He was secretly alarmed. Qin Yun had just entered the city not long ago, yet he was already doing such a shady business. "Did you get it from a two-star city?" Liang Yuping asked. "There are ships from both two-star and three-star cities," Qin Yun said. "They are all the ships of some aristocratic families." "Damn, how much did you get?" Liang Yuping was shocked and asked in a deep voice. He knew that Qin Yun had a storage Dharma treasure, so it was extremely easy to steal the ship. For ships, all of them are very good, relatively luxurious. Qin Yun said with a smile, "Sister Qin asked me to get your help. That last Liang Qin is actually doing this kind of shady business." Liang Yuping was a little surprised. He smiled and said, "Did you lead her astray?" "No problem." Qin Yun smiled and said, "Is there a way to get out? If everything goes well, I'll give you some silver crystal coins as a reward." "Of course there's a way." Liang Yuping thought for a moment and said, "Let's go to One-Star City. I'll bring you to a shipbuilding place and sell it there. They'll modify it before selling it." Qin Yun nodded before quickly sweeping the delicacies on the table. He followed Liang Yuping out of the city and flew towards One-Star City. The distance between the One-Star City and the Two-Star City was not very far, and many people often traveled between the two cities. One-Star City was the most chaotic place, so the illegal goods obtained in 2- or 3-star cities were usually sold in One-Star City. After being modified, people from 2- and 3-star cities would buy them, or other sects would come to buy them and sell them. Qin Yun and Liang Yuping flew in the air and quickly arrived above One-Star City. They flew towards an empty area in the East District of One-Star City. There were many large and small ships in that area. Many of them were rather old and some were black good. Qin Yun and Liang Yuping had changed their appearances. They entered the shipyard and chatted with an old man for a while before being brought to a very spacious hall for a secret discussion. After entering, Yun took out 4 ships from the 9 Yang Divine Spirit. When the elder saw that Qin Yun had a storage Dharma treasure, he was alarmed and became a lot more polite. That was because those who possessed storage magic treasures were not ordinary people, let alone a storage magic treasure with such a large capacity. After some haggling, Qin Yun finally sold it for 130,000 silver crystal coins. Qin Yun, Qin Yun Tian, Jin Shao Shan Not. Yun Shao Ching. Yun Tian, 1-inch damn, there's such a big silver crystal coin. Qin Yun flew in the air and said in shock, "Why didn't Sister Qin use such a big one before? Why did she get so many boxes? There are 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Liang Yuping said with a smile. 10 and 1 are the most common. The family usually earns small coins for the younger generation to spend. There is such a rule? Qin Yun took out a large one and handed it to Liang Yuping. He said with a smile, "Brother Liang, this is for you. I just made a casual trip and earned so much. This is not good, right?" Liang Yupeng is not very rich, but he is not lacking in silver crystal coins. However, he is still tempted by this large silver crystal coin. Qin Yun gave Liang Yupeng so much because he planned to cooperate with him more readily in the future. In addition, Liang Yupeng gave him and Xiao Yueme 600 genes, which can be considered quite generous. In the end, Liang Yupeng accepted it. He has no choice but to carry a 10,000 genes flatbread. To a golden immortal, this kind of weight is nothing. After Qin Yun sold the large ships, he returned to the two-star city's War Immortal Academy. Liang Yupeng also returned to store his large coins. Xiao Yun, storage magic tools are very important to this ancient garden. If you can take them out, you will definitely become a very popular big shot. Ling Yuner said with smile. At that time, maybe you can directly contact the upper echelons of Divine Tree Palace and find Sister Bing Xing and the others. I will start researching now. Qin Yun has the runes and totems given by the space god. He can adapt to the space law of this ancient garden. If he can truly take them out, he will become extremely rich. Xiao Yun, I have an idea. Ling Yun suddenly said, what if you put a large amount of sacred mysterious silver crystals into the small black bottle? Qin Yun's small black bottle is filled with a large amount of flood dragon blood and some flood dragon blood spring. Adding the energy source of the evil dragon mountain, all kinds of energy are converging and the situation inside is very violent. All kinds of energy are frantically fusing. Qin Yun is worried that the small black bottle will explode. If he put in a large amount of sacred mysterious silver crystals, the small black bottle might not be able to withstand it. We must prepare to enter the sacred desolate. Ling Yun said again. If the liquid inside the small black bottle evolves, it will become a huge energy source in the future. Adding the divine inscription mountain, once we enter the sacred desolate, we will have a foothold. Let's wait for the situation inside the small black bottle to stabilize first. Qin Yun said, I don't have that many sacred mysterious silver crystals right now. The reason why those powerful immortal emperors and great emperors haven't entered the sacred desolate yet is because they want to gather resources in the immortal desolate and prepare to enter the sacred desolate. Qin Yun has more or less finished refining the sun-space runes and totems given by the space god. Next, he will start refining teleportation talismans, storage magic tools, as well as spatial communication tools. Although there aren't many instant space immortal iron in the ancient garden, there are still a lot of them. I can collect a lot of them here, Qin Yun said in his heart. If he uses a large amount of instant space immortal iron and uses the Dan transformation heavenly furnace, he can refine extremely high-quality instant space sacred iron. With a large amount of instant space sacred iron, he can make teleportation magic tools or magic mirrors for long-distance communication. Qin Yun fiddled with it for 2 days and discovered that the space in the ancient garden is different from the immortal desolate because the space here is extremely sturdy. Other than that, there are many other aspects that are different. For the space to be so sturdy, it must be very difficult to tear it apart. Could it be that it is to protect the things hidden inside? Qin Yun is secretly amazed. Xiao Yun, maybe the ancient garden not only has sun soul but also something else. Ling Yun said with a smile. Qin Yun needs 10 gene of instant space immortal iron to make a teleportation talisman here. Furthermore, it has to be forged very thinly so that the quality can be raised even higher. If it was in the immortal desolate, there would be no need to go through so much trouble. The amount of instant space immortal iron required would not exceed 1 gene. From this, it can be seen how special the space in the ancient garden is. Furthermore, the teleportation talisman requires the sun space totem to be carved. Moreover, it requires several sets of them to be carved. It consumes a lot of blood soul power. After Qin Yun finished making one, he is about to die from exhaustion. Even if I have the Gemini treasure mirror to record the totem runes, it still consumes a lot of blood soul power. Qin Yun held the instant space sacred pearl in his hand and began infusing spatial power into it. It took 2 days to make a talisman. Ling Yun exclaimed in surprise. What if I were to refine a storage magic tool? I don't know. A storage magic tool needs a sun space totem and 3 types of runes to be stable. Maybe I even need instant space sacred iron. Qin Yun looked at the golden teleportation talisman and shook his head with a sigh. It's very hard to make a teleportation talisman that can adapt to this place. I can't make it in bulk. Ling Yun laughed. It's already very fast. If it were any other inscription master, they wouldn't even know how to make it. Liang Qin hasn't returned yet. She went to participate in some new student training. She will be gone for a few days and she still has to go out to train. After Qin Yun finished making the teleportation talisman, he did not try it out, because according to his experience, he can be sure that he will succeed. Therefore, he did not want to waste teleportation times, and next, he began to refine a storage magic tool. Because the difficulty of refining is rather high, he did not plan to make it very exquisite. Instead, he refined it into the shape of a palm-sized jade pendant that can be hung on his waist. Instant space immortal iron combined with the corresponding spatial runes and totems can open up a space inside. Of course, other than instant space immortal iron, other materials with spatial characteristics can also be used. But instant space immortal iron is the most stable and best to use. Qin Yun used more than 1,000 genes of instant space immortal iron to forge it into the shape of a light blue jade pendant. Then, he released his blood soul power and painstakingly carved runes and totems. However, he discovered that the space inside can only fit a bun. What the F***K is this? What exactly went wrong? More than 1,000 genes of instant space immortal iron, the space inside is actually only the size of a bowl. Qin Yun cursed in a low voice. Be content, other people's storage magic tools can't be used here. It's impossible to see the space inside. Ling Yun said with a smile. If we go to Immortal Desolate, the space inside this jade pendant should be very big, right? No. It's also that big in Immortal Desolate. Qin Yun shook his head and said, the spatial runes and totems I used combined with this instant space immortal iron can only create such a big space. Could it be that there isn't enough instant space immortal iron? Ling Yun said. I need to use instant space sacred iron. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, I'm just a golden immortal, using the pill transformation heavenly furnace is too slow and also very tiring. I can't make much instant space sacred iron. Xiao Yun, don't you have a lot of silver crystal coins? You can use the saint power inside the silver crystal coins to refine inside the pill transformation heavenly furnace. Ling Yun said. That's right. Qin Yun took out a large box of silver crystal coins. He looked at the silver crystal coins and said, the saint power inside these silver crystal coins has been sealed. Unsealing them one by one is too troublesome. Liang Yupeng said that 1 silver crystal coin can be exchanged for 2 genes of sacred Xian silver crystal in the black market. He plans to exchange it. It is more worthwhile this way. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.